Welcome back, COD fans. Just one more weekend of matches before we ship up to Boston.
That's right, Puckett, and just a few more chances for squads to lock in their spot in the winners bracket.
First up today, Røkkr and Guerrillas, both on the bubble. A win this week would be crucial heading into Major I.
Then, Miami Heretics finally get a chance to face off against a Titan. Can the Spanish sensations break down the green wall, or will OpTic Texas hold the line?
And it's the Championship Grand Finals rematch. Scrap and the Toronto Ultra out for revenge against the Subliners after a humiliating shutout on Call of Duty's biggest stage.
It all starts right now on the Call of Duty League.
Welcome in, all you ranked warriors. It's Puckett alongside Alleycat and Nameless, and we are gearing up for the final day of qualifier, or final weekend of qualifiers, I should say, before we head over to Boston. 3 days of competition remain, and well, this weekend's going to be a big one because all of our top four are facing off as we get a chance to sort out our winners bracket heading into that first land. Welcome in, everybody. Puckett, Alleycat, Nameless. Let's start with you, Alleycat. How's the game been treating you?
Game's been great. Unfortunately, my duo Hydra didn't join me this past weekend, but I guess he's busy scrimming.
Busy Hydra.
Major,
Nameless, I saw you were streaming, what, 9 hours? You were on Twitch, YouTube, all over the planet. How was the ranked play?
Dude, it was a blast. Absolute grind. You know, ranked finally came out, and we had to put in that work. Obviously, the delay wasn't that fun, but we got to learn the new meta, so it's going to be a lot of fun when we actually start playing on it.
Well, today we're looking at some old school gameplay. Let's take a look at the schedule. We are going to have 3 matches here on Friday, Super Saturday, and we'll close it out with 3 on Sunday. Looking at today, though, I see that Toronto Ultra versus Subliners matchup on Saturday. I want to see what's going on with the Heretics and LAG, and on Sunday, I'm looking at OpTic and FaZe. Any other matches catching your eye here, Alex?
Maybe the Boston Breach versus the New York Subliners. Again, Boston possibly trying to fight their way into their winners bracket of their own home major.
I like that call. Let's start here with the closing matchup. OpTic versus FaZe as the final qualifier matchup is going to have huge implications on our seeding. Nameless, let's start here with OpTic Texas because right now they're the underdog. They have one loss. It was a Game 5 round 11 to the Subliners, but that's their blemish on the record. What have you seen from the Green Wall?
I mean, they've been unbelievable. I mean, even in their last series, right, the resilience. They went down 0-2, and it was Kenny leading the lobby in damage at almost 16,000. He's been such a great pickup for these guys. Pred's starting to find his stride, and for this team in Hardpoint, haven't lost a beat. If you guys remember last year, they made that roster change and picked up Ghosty. That is when they started pummeling teams, winning all their Hardpoints, and so far in this game, it has been that. Top 3 in hold, breaking, and rotation, so that's something definitely for OpTic fans to look out for. And, you know, for this OpTic Texas team, even in Search and Destroy, they've been very good so far. In their first series, they lost 2 round 11s. After that, it's been pretty damn good picking up those first bloods. The conversion's been through the roof. So for OpTic Texas, this is a roster that was built so they could win championships. For the better part of last year, they were beating Atlanta FaZe. So going into this one, they obviously want to get that W once again.
As we take a look at the leaderboard here, Allie, these are our top 10 KDs. OpTic's got a few, FaZe has got a few. Thoughts on some of the names here?
Oh, I'm actually really surprised to see Pred and Dashy and not Kenny in this top 10, but no surprise in the top 2 being Cellium and Simp. Atlanta FaZe have been unreal.
I love that. 2 from the Subliners, 2 from Toronto, 2 from FaZe. Let's go to the red team. Cellium and Simp are on the leaderboard, but aBeZy and Drazah have been dropping numbers of their own. They're the #1 seed right now. They've had the most success in the qualifiers, something we've seen in the past. What are your thoughts right now on the level of Atlanta FaZe? Is this stronger than the team we saw last year, Allie?
Yes, I think it is. Simply because I think they're still just as consistent as they were last year. They're a lot stronger in hardpoint off the rip than they were last year. but also because some of the in-game changes. Atlanta FaZe was a team that struggled a little bit when it came to somebody directing in-game comms. Well, now they have Drazah, and now we have covert sneakers and red dots on the mini-map, so they don't have to worry about it too much. So I think for Atlanta FaZe, it's not only going to be a team diff, but a game diff for them as well.
Nameless, that's a whole lot of third places. You got a second place there at Major 5, and of course you won Major 2 in Boston. What are the number expectations for this team this year?
I mean, same thing, top 3, right? Like, you expect them to be in that discussion and also to get championships. You know, they make a change in their roster, bringing in Drazah, and they've only lost, you know, 1 map in each game mode. You know, they're 5-1, 4-1, 5-1, control hardpoint, and S&D. And this is a team that's extremely dangerous. I think Ali hit the nail on the head. The game changes coming into this one with the covert sneakers obviously allows the SMGs to make more plays in a thing like search and destroy. We've seen different strats coming out. aBeZy goes down mid, he's making a play, they play off of that, right? So the dynamic is totally different in search, so they remain strong there. And then in the respawn, you brought in Drazah. We saw what he's able to do with the Thieves, right? He's bringing it to this squad. They look unreal.
I just want aBeZy versus Shotzzy with everyone wearing covert sneakers. I'll just watch that for about 5 hours. Let's take a look at another matchup that's going down this week. In fact, it's happening at the end of tonight. 2 teams in the top 4, Toronto Ultra and the Subliners, get a rematch of, well, kind of the year. Last year, it went in favor of New York, and it was a one-sided affair for the World Championship, Ali.
What's even cooler is the fact that both of these teams have made a singular roster change. Now, the biggest surprise, obviously, was New York making one after having come off of being world champions, but Simp has kind of proved himself and why they decided to make this change so far, at least, especially in that last matchup when he was simply that guy on the map. For Toronto Ultra, this is definitely going to be a proving ground of kind of who pack a punch their one player more.
Absolutely. And, you know, to talk about New York a little bit, obviously, Sib's getting more comfortable. The hard point looks pretty good. 7-0 in search and destroy. You know, I was a guy on a team before where we won a championship and then we dropped somebody. It did not work out. So I was critical of this move that they made, but it has paid dividends, and now they're going up against Ultra again. Ultra obviously made this roster change probably because of how bad they got beat in that World Championship. So this is a big-time matchup. It's going to say a lot about these teams going into Major.
OpTic FaZe, New York versus Toronto. It doesn't get bigger than that here in the final week of qualifiers, but there are some huge implications for all 12 teams competing this week. Let's take a look at a matchup on the bubble. LAG taking on Minnesota, battle of the blue kids or purple kids, depending on what color your skins are in your game. But Nameless, I got to talk about this LAG squad because Fame came to life in his most recent series.
Oh, yeah.
And now the whole team looks like what we thought was going to be bottom 4, now competing maybe for top 6.
Yeah, you know, there was also a lot of drama with the construction of this roster headed into the season. A lot of people, you know, talking trash about them, saying they weren't going to be very good. Maybe there should be some people and challengers on this team. Well, no, they're proving everybody wrong. The respawn has been fantastic. In their last, they're 4-4 in hardpoint, but in their last 5, Chris, they're 4-1. Diamondcon has been lighting it up, and it seems since Fame went on that 10 streak on Karachi S&D, he has been a man on a mission, so they look very comfortable. And now, sitting at 2-3, their last 2 matches are going to be going up against Minnesota, and they have Miami. So for LAG, they could definitely get this W and put themselves in a situation they're in winners.
I mean, this is a situation, both these teams are in the same spot right now, right? They have very similar stories, rosters that many of us didn't really think were going to work out. And as far as it goes, LAG seems to have a little bit of an edge in this series because of how it seems to be consistent Fame has been for this team. These are all very talented players, and a lot of times they're beating themselves. So I think in this situation, LAG might have the edge.
Minnesota was in 12th place at the start of last week. Right now, you see them at number 9. A win today against LAG puts them into the top 7, and that's where they want to be at the end before we get to Boston. Top 8 gets that winner's bracket in Boston. Taking a look at the schedule on the day. Nameless, which one of these matchups goes to a Game 5?
New York versus Toronto.
Ali, which one of these matchups is the closest, or I guess biggest blowout, I should say?
Oh, the biggest blowout? Ooh, it might be that second match on the day. It depends on Miami we get today.
Vamos.
Chat, you agree? Let us know right now. We're going to break. When we come back, it's Minnesota LAG here from the CDL.
city of Boston, where champions are born.
Push on up. You have 3 players on the spawn. Maybe a chance here. Accuracy. The back.
Lynz is ripping Boston apart. Boston to close this lead. And Lynz is going to just continue to push space for the Zawolabobs. Wow.
Maybe come straight through as well.
Awakening versus the world, and he's coming up with the dub. And if you can transition this to New Hill, Awakening is trying to put in absolute work. Slashes up next. He gets them all. The whole team with the demon jump.
Minnesota on a heater after starting 0-4. They now sit at 2-4 with a chance to be, well, I guess in the top 8. Let's see if they can get it done today as they take on LAG. The Røkkr most recently coming off a 3-0 over Carolina, but we should mention Carolina was playing with TJ as a last-minute substitute.
Yo, don't throw TJ on the bus, though, because he did what he had to do in that series. I will say for Minnesota Røkkr, it's kind of the same story of what I talked about last Sunday, is that they don't really have a clear strength in any game mode, and the only player that's really showed even a little bit of consistency actually has been Lynz. He was the only player positive with a 1.02, and we saw against Carolina, I mean, it was a Lynz diff. He had to go on a 10 spree. Even though it was a 3-0, we're talking about an 8-point hard point, around 5 controls, so for them, they can get caught off guard at any point here.
Yeah. He was in absolute form in week 3, and you're going to need that because Awakening has not been great. Pacing-wise and engagement statistics, he's been lower than accuracy. That is absolutely unacceptable for this team. And then also for Big Wake, like damage from wrapping the hard point, he's got to be the guy out there on the cuts picking up these kills, making the game easier for everybody. He has not been doing that. The lowest on the team in set damage. So for Minnesota, it's going to be a mountain to climb going up against the LAG team that has just been phenomenal in the respawn so far, Chris.
LAG on the other side has taken down LA Thieves. They have taken down Boston. Let's talk a little bit about the Guerrillas on the other side of this matchup. And real quick, though, does Lynz have the best hair in the CDL?
It's up there. I'm going with Vickle. Vickle got the best hair.
Oh, it's true.
He got the flow.
Comeback player of the year, without a doubt. I like what you broke down there for Minnesota, but let's talk about LAG, a team that I've always respected. I like the scrappiness out of this squad. Now they're finding success as well, Allie.
Yes, and I agree with you. I like the overall build and the thought process behind this team. The problem right now is they're beating themselves a lot of the time. We saw multiple situations where LAG should have been able to close out the maps, and they were unable to off of a lot of simple player mistakes. So for LAG, I'm hoping they did a lot of VOD review and come up here with fire.
Yeah, you can see on the screen right now, hardpoint breaking in form, 4-1 in the last 5 maps, #1 break percentage in the CDL. It's been phenomenal, man. You talk about, Diamond Con and what he's been able to do sort of early on as they were figuring it out, getting them out of the mud. He was the guy making the plays, and then recently it's been Fame popping off. So this is the LAG team that I very much like. I mean, you talk about this team, they have their 2 wins versus Boston and LAT. Their losses, Chris, Atlanta FaZe, the New York Subliners, and the Toronto Ultra.
Yikes.
Those are our top 4 teams that created legitimate super teams during the offseason. These guys are from challenges. It's going to take some time to acclimate, and so far they have exceeded our expectations. This is a big opportunity.
Hardest strength of schedule, I think we can say, up to this point. Today, you get an easy one statistically. Let's see if they can make good on it as we take a look at the maps and modes. For LAG, if you're going to get a 3rd W, what do you get it done on? How many maps do we go to?
We might go to 4 here. I think they're still struggling in Search and Destroy for LAG, but I think overall these maps are great for them. They're getting the same invasion that they got against Boston, as well as that Karachi that they 3-1 them in, as well as the Skid Row map number 4. This is literally the exact way that they won against Boston in 3-1 fashion. So I think they're in a good spot.
Nameless, if Minnesota wins it, how many games do we go to?
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at the map data. There's really no massive edge on either side. Besides, if we go to that game 5, neither team has a win on Terminal Search and Destroy. And that's really just going to be a crapshoot, 50-50 for me. But for Minnesota, Big Wake has to get going. You got to start off strong when we get to this invasion hardpoint and give yourself an edge in the series.
All right, well, it's time for your pick'ems. If you haven't gotten them in already, go to pick'em.callofdutyleague.com. And I am currently leading the desk, so I will go first with LAG as the first successful pick of the day.
I guess I'm not catching you today. I'm going with LAG.
LAG, Nameless, join the train.
Ah, man, I hate when we're unanimous, because then we could just all be wrong, but I'm going with LAG as well.
What about the chat fans? Where do you lean? And we're all going LAG. Minnesota, congrats on the dub as we send it over to Study and Shift. Real quick, get your pick'ems in. Pick'em.callofdutyleague.com. Scan that little thing in the bottom corner and then get it done. Casters, take it away.
Wow, a full LAG board. I actually didn't have that for you guys at all today because like Nameless said, Minnesota's been cooking with some heat, and this map series doesn't really favor one team or the other, Jay. I think it's just all about who gets off to a hot start here to get map 1 going.
Oh, yeah, I completely agree. Like, when you looked at these maps, it's not like one team completely outstands the other one. Everyone has played it probably like 2 times at max. One team only at Terminal. If you're one squad in LAG, that's the only map that you haven't played in this series. So I think it's going to be a back and forth between both of these rosters. But a lot is riding more for me on the side of Minnesota, because if they walk away with this dub, they now have 3 wins on the season, and that could potentially be just enough for them to get a winner's bracket going into Boston.
Huge. We're looking at probably 3 and 4 records are likely safe. There could be some tiebreaker situations depending on what happens, but you're absolutely right. This feels like kind of a must-win series for Minnesota if they want to have a chance to make the winner's bracket. Whereas for LAG, you win this one, you very well may find yourself at least somewhat comfortably in that top 8 bracket to start off your first major, which is, again, I think really surprising. Like the desk had said, this is like a full challengers team last year, and there hadn't been a lot of tremendous success in a lot of regards throughout the last couple of years collectively for anyone. So this is a huge step in the right direction for LAG, but we have to start talking about this Minnesota squad because yes, they have been good lately, but a lot of it feels like it's come from Lynz, that guy in the top left of your screen.
Oh yeah, they just got a W over the Carolina Ravens, and they got it done in a clean 3-0 due to what Lynz was able to do on the map. A 1.4 in the series. He was Mr. Do It All, and he's gonna have his hands full going up against the other SMG on the other side in Fame, who went crazy in his last series. So this is very important for both of these squads, but those SMGs can really take it over the top.
And we'll see if that will be the case and maybe the linchpin for success here as we jump to an invasion hardpoint. The big thing we need you guys to focus on as we're going through this is the fact that, well, we've got some really opposite stat lines that are coming through. For LAG, this has been the best breaking team pretty much in the game, but they're one of the worst teams when it comes to rotation and holds, Jay, and that's kind of a staple across invasion hardpoint. They have to have something better today.
Especially on Invasion, like you said, my friend, because you know we're playing on pre-patch. So we're going to have Treehouse, which is going to be P4, and back towards the Palace, which is P5 of Money Hill. So if you're that team in LAG who rely on breaks every single time to find success in hardpoints on a map like Invasion, that's going to come back to bite you. But here we go into the map number 1. They are going to be the team starting off on the good side. So how much time can they get off of this P1?
Little double SMG focus over to the side hallways. Vivid able to open things up for first blood and a second. No trades anywhere to be found. And, well, you want to talk about hold percentages. LAG in first. Don't even find a single kill.
Yeah, that's not good. That's not the way you want to come out swinging. And now you allow Lynz to take a little bit more pressure up the map towards Courtyard. You're potentially going to try to trap them in towards back Palace. You have one player in Fame who already spawns over towards Mannequin. So the pitch is going to be here. Be down now for LAG. The break is in.
All right, we're back in. We've got ourselves a ball game. Really good start for Minnesota, but LAG continuing to showcase those statistics. Very clean on their break attempt. Looking over towards P2, focus will be to the top left side of the map as that lock will start to open up. LAG should get here first. Lynz trying to deter that. Good first blood win, but right from behind, DiamondCon keeps the rotation safe.
Yeah, DiamondCon, he's been the player so far for LAG that I love to watch. He's always putting himself in a great position to make the right play happen or make the clutch kills happen, and he finds one to win the rotation for his team. And now, even though they are controlling the spawns the way that they do currently, they eventually want to flip Minnesota towards the backside of Palace so they can try to chain it towards P3, but that's already 20 uncontested seconds. They're still holding strong. Now spawns are starting to flip.
Things looking decent for Minnesota with that split spawn situation. Assault the last one standing over towards the backside near Ice Cream. The rest of his team trying to flood right down the main street. Vivid only able to take down one, and the team kill will actually allow the break to come through pretty cleanly here for Minnesota. So back and forth, we kind of went over the top of the second hard point, but for the last 20 seconds, things are looking pretty good for Minnesota. Last attempt for Fame would have to be the linchpin towards success in breaking, and he will not be able to do so. Minnesota a chance to reclaim the lead.
Yeah, Minnesota's going to take the lead, and there's also a big gunfight going away over towards the next hill as well. Accuracy was nice and early off the rotation, but he loses that gunfight to Ezreal, so he tried to be the player to sneak on out, make something happen for Minnesota, but now they are trapped in towards Back Palace. Next farthest player pushed up is going to be Vivid. He's working his way through DVD, but he gets cut down. So now if you are the Guerrillas, you can take a deep breath. No one's going to be near the hill for about 10 seconds. Let's just make sure we watch our crosses.
Really good buffer set around this hard point. A lot of stress on Assault to watch the main street. Diamondcon catching the cross. Everything turning up pretty nicely here for LAG. Full 4-man feed, and this would be a time where LAG try to extend that line a little bit further defensively and really put the pressure on Minnesota spawns.
And this is where it gets scary too, because now with only 30 seconds left, Minnesota, they know that if they apply pressure over towards bathrooms, they're definitely going to lose Treehouse. We now have to give up 30 seconds and try to rotate over towards the opposite side of the map. But again, Diamondcon in the position, already at 10-5 on a 3 streak. Going to be perfectly set up to give themselves a nice little lead. If you're Minnesota Røkkr, if you don't find a break here, you're going to be forced to chalk this pretty early and play for a full 60 at Palace.
And it's going to feel desperate in nature if you let this extra 60, even 45, go away just by the total score on the board right now. Diamondcon up top, still keeping his streak alive for 4, but Owakening able to shut him down. 6-5 start for Owakening. That's been pretty solid. We talked about the tempo of the Minnesota ARs, but accuracy still kind of lagging behind a little bit. Only 3 and only a second at the hard point as well. We need to see these ARs from Minnesota start to light things up.
Yeah, they definitely have to step up, and at least they have the bodies here to apply the pressure and find the break in towards Treehouse. Now their main focus is maintaining Palace side. Fame with a big one-on-one towards the middle of the map. He's going to start it off. He can find this second. That would have been enough to potentially flip the spawns, but big kill from Vivid. They're getting the final 30. You're going to have accuracy already off the rotation towards Palace side.
Wow.
This is exactly how you want to get back into the game, as LG looking like they're going to find a couple kills to lead towards this break.
Yeah, but Lynz is still underway. Really well done. Again, he's been kind of the shining part of this Minnesota team, even in their most desperate and sometimes bad moments. He's able to at least allow a little bit more of that scrap time to come through. Battle for rotation over to the final hard point. Ezreal, Vivid, 1v1. They're going to see, well, actually not see each other, but Ezreal! Oh, he turns back over, gets the kill on towards Vivid. The rest of LAG still spawn all the way out, but there is still a chance for Ezreal to finesse his life.
Yeah, it's only Ezreal Hill, though, so he has to basically go Superman. Dun-dun-dun-dun, strap on the cape. All of your teammates trying to run through the middle of the map while the rest of Minnesota trying to sniff out where you are, but he's finding openings. He's finding a kill to allow his teammates to push him towards the street side. He's finessing. He's dancing towards the bottom of the palace. Can we shoot him? No, we cannot. He finds another. Ezreal on a 5, still finessing.
And here comes the rest of LAG finally here. Last one left alive for Minnesota's accuracy. And he's just stuck, or pardon me, Awakening, he's just stuck inside the hard point at the moment. Ezreal on 5, slides across, catches the info. There's the bait and switch. Ah, it's beautiful. And how about that for LAG? A nice little break with still 20 seconds to go. Minnesota going to try to get this one last hit with 2 members still nearby. Accuracy, Lynz working together, and there's accuracy for the double to get the scrap time, keeping us neck and neck as we rotate back over to the first hill.
Yeah, that's such a well-played hill right there to Ezreal, because that scoreline could be completely different if he drops and then you allow Minnesota to get a full-on setup, and he keeps it a little bit scary, a little shaky, and now they're still up by 15 points, but into the second rotation of hard points we go. It's going to be Røkkr in full control of the hill currently, but you do have those close ones for the Guerrillas towards Mannequin side. You just have to find a couple kills, and they have yet to find one. Vivid and Assault holding it down so far.
Nice little lane here from Lynz, trying to open things up around the outside of the hard point. They've been able to at least use that damage as a way to confirm 1 kill. Accuracy following up, but LAG could have once again find a way to break at a perfect time to see if they can hold this out as we head to an LAG. Listen it.
He's on me. Nothing dark, nothing dark. I'm gonna put your back door cups up.
Okay, go for it.
Wake,
I really know.
Back door, dead. I have a streak. Back door me. I'm trying to live.
I don't feel. Put me cut.
He's on me new. I'm a bullet.
I'm here.
Might spawn out.
Yeah, I'm trying to play.
He's on your left. And one's a default. I have a streak. They're all going.
Was it new? I'm playing the second. He's on me.
I'm gonna
Dark. New. One shot.
On hold.
Just kill this guy. He shot the. I have the mid door.
Square, guys.
Right, I'm gonna
break me too. New, absolutely.
I got Toxin.
There's two up new.
I had the choice. I'm shrinking.
They're shit late too, but they can throw it down late.
One square. They're all there. One bending, one palace. I'm pushing. He's this square. He's square.
Oh, he's deep.
Palace.
He's not pitching.
Trying to you. Not pitching mid, not pitching mid.
On the street. Street.
I'm plenty over time to stay alive.
Here, I hear you. I'm waiting.
You're on the tank at least.
Let's bring him on the tank. Bring him on the tank. I'm waiting.
All our shit. Plenty on the tank.
Right now, I'm trying to push up. He's living on the tank.
He's on tank.
Mid-cut, Lamar. Weak.
I spawned up. We had to hold that. Spawn next to I'm on paralyzed. Lynz and
I'm going right.
It could be Manny. I'm playing back ass.
I saw mid-cut.
I
think someone cut.
Could be Manny, like I said.
Yo,
Ace and
Lamar. He's weak.
Back out.
And one mid-tank as well. Ace and one mid-tank. You're mid-door. I think one close to Ace and just to line down.
Yeah. Ellie, no, you got
Well, the break attempt on 1 was good, but nothing to be gained, even off the cruise missile towards 2. And in the process of that, listen, LAG also kind of get flipped around on spawns. Not good news here as we open up the bus station, Jay.
Yeah, this could be the turning point of the game. Minnesota were able to hold down that P2 for basically a full 60 on the bad side, and they were able to flip it at the right time and chain it to this bathroom hill. If you don't find the break, if you are the Guerrillas, which you're usually really successful at doing, you're going to basically call a game right here if you are Minnesota. But the break eventually does come in. Big one-on-one in towards the hill with that assault wins. Minnesota have to be forced to now hit that early rotation. You're going to have Vivid still contesting this, though, but we're thinking about that next hill. 2 players already there.
And Vivid in a lot of trouble. Does at least soften up one player. Accuracy turned around. He did able to at least earn himself a cruise missile in the process of that last hard point, and then he actually goes back in for a scrap. It looked like LAG had no idea that he was still going to commit. So now we've got a bit of a 50-50 over towards New, with Minnesota getting past the 200-point mark. It's all about who wins these opening gunfights and accuracy, looking to assist with the cruise missile.
And this is a situation where if you are the Guerrillas, you're spawning all the way at Palace. You need to break this hill. You're going to lose the map. Usually when you find yourself in a situation, you want someone to play safe towards Palace, but now we have to apply the pressure. We have to find the break. Lynz opens up with the first nade, but they're all spawning in front of him. Minnesota might be able to close out the game here if they don't find any kills.
Astral first one to drop. Lynz finesses his life back in towards DVD. Help around the back. It's all about now if you can get Assault, number 5 in white. Can he get around the back of this setup and open up some space for his teammates to flood forward? First kill comes through, diamond cut from the front, caught by accuracy on the cross, not able to double up, but it's just now a couple of individual members for LAG and Lynz! Oh, goodness, what a snap over to Assault for 4 in a row. Number 5 right in front of him, but Astral puts him away, and now it's just the final 10 seconds. LAG going in one by one, and in similar form, they will also fall. Minnesota, who's been so good in map number 1 on the series and this season, continued to find ways to win, to open up. How about it? Really cool stuff for Minnesota to get those rotations and again just punish LAG time and time again.
And we said it before the map 1 started. Minnesota, they were the better team at rotating. They were the better team at holding down hills. They just were not the better team at breaking. And on a map like Invasion, when you're not that team set up early, it's really difficult to break some of these hills. And that was on full display in map number 1. Minnesota, they turned the game around when they got to that P2. Get a full 45 there, flip the spawns towards the backside, towards Palace. Then you take bathrooms control. You get to about 190. But the fact that they fought that final 15, that was even better for them because they know all of the Guerrillas are going to spawn towards Palace. They have to sprint down B Street, take us out of this heady. As long as no one scams in towards the hard point, we should be able to close the game out on 4. And they did it flawlessly on the final 3 hard points to close out this game and go up 1-0 in this series.
Jay, Vivid goes 23 and 19, 4K plus damage, minute 20 in the hill, and 19 of his 23 go untraded. This guy was a problem, which is, you know, not surprising. It's just we usually see those numbers from Lynz. So the fact you're getting out of Vivid, good news for Minnesota.
Yeah, that's definitely good news out of Minnesota because Lynz, he's been that guy. But if you can get Vivid to step up the way that we know he can play, it's going to make the game a lot easier. And it was also like, what? Accuracy started like 3 and 10. He started to slowly win a couple of gunfights, to win his team a couple rotations, and that also made the game a lot easier. It looked like they were a little bit late to the warm-up, but eventually they showed up to the party and had a good time, and now they're up 1-0, and this was now a situation where if you are the Guerrillas, you're going into Search and Destroy where it hasn't been your friend all year long.
Yeah, the only bit of good news I would say for the side of really both teams is like LAG's been really one-dimensional in their map selection, so they have a little bit of favor getting the high rise, which we assumed they wanted. But like you said, shoes on the other foot when it comes to talking about Minnesota and their Search and Destroy has not been essentially great. But the one time they have played high rise, they were 6-2 on it. I think the thing about it is, you know, hey, for Minnesota, the good news is you were able to get not just great participation from Vivid, but your ARs are getting a lot more active. Look at the hard point time here for accuracy and Awakening by the end of the game. It was a little bit of a slower start, but Minnesota able to turn things up and get their ARs more active, which is something that we will kind of echo as we eventually head into the search and destroy as well.
And I think that's the perfect thing that we have to focus on going into the search and destroy, because there's one guy in specific that usually is a menace on the map. And when we were listening to the Deaths break it down, I know it breaks Nameless's heart whenever he has to talk about big wake, giga wake, not in the best shape. He's usually one of those guys that takes over the game. He has that takeover ability, but so far this season, he's been kind of below the pack. Pretty sure he's bottom 5 in hardpoint, KD. Not really the best in search and destroy, but he has the ability to be that guy to change the game for this team. So with them getting that early map 1 victory, it's something that they've been able to do all season. That now puts them 5-1 in opening hardpoints. You just have to be able to chain it into a search and destroy. And since they just played this versus Carolina, they won 6-2. They dominated in every aspect of that game. Oh yeah, we best believe we're going to throw this in the series as map number 2 to potentially go up 2-0.
Yeah, it's a perfect segue there, Sonny, because it felt like there was a light bulb moment that kind of came through while playing Carolina last week. And to be fair, you know, their opening 4 games included matches versus OpTic and included matches versus New York, but finding a 3-0 versus Carolina, maybe that's like the extra step they need just to build a little bit more confidence of, hey, we are doing the right things, or we are making the right adjustments to get ourselves more competitive. And following up with a dominant map number 1, I'm sure those things have to be extra enforced. The big question will be, can you actually turn up when it matters most? In particular, whether you're talking Minnesota, whether you're talking LAG, the search and destroy has been kind of the vulnerability for both these two squads to this point. This is the time where things have to start clicking before we head into a major.
Yeah, they definitely have to start clicking now. And I think the biggest thing that Minnesota need to focus on is them getting the first blood and actually winning the round. Because they do a good job of getting the first kill, but the conversion rate after that is like 11th in the league. You're in a 4v3 situation. Let's just play our man-up advantages. Let's just play trades properly and walk away with these rounds. And on the opposite side for LAG, it's been their defensive side. They allow the bomb plant to go down 50% of the time in their attacking rounds, and they only have a 20% chance at retaking the site, which is dead last in the league. So if you're the team on defense in the Guerrillas, let's just not let the bomb go down. We cannot retake it, so let's just make it a little bit easier for us.
Yeah, you make it sound so simple, but I think the thing is, like, as we look at a map like High Rise, how much focus do you put onto the ARs in particular? Because I think that's one of the things, if you can lock down the lanes, let your SMGs kind of float, run circles around a couple of key areas, that makes life easier when it comes to setting up your initial defense, which, to be fair, both teams have not been particularly stellar at.
I just think on a map like High Rise, though, when you say about cutting off these lanes, there's so many different lanes on a map like High Rise, because you have the undergrounds, you have the outskirts, you have so many different angles that you can attack. So these ARs are going to put themselves in positions to hold down these long line of sites. But then when those sites get overwhelmed by nades, by stunts, you're now forced to reposition. And that little split second of a timing allows those SMGs to now maneuver around the map due to the attack usage. So even if they are holding down a certain lane, if they get back down from that spot, you cannot allow the timing to go the opposite team, because that's what LAG were been able to capitalize on it last week, was that Fame was always finding the timing. He was always making stuff happen. And if you allow that guy to start roaming, what did he go on, a 10 streak on Karachi SD last week? Oh yeah, you have to make sure you slow that guy down and shut down his timings. And that's going to be Lynz on the opposite side, and Vivid, who had a great performance in map number 1 to slow him down.
Yeah, I think the Lynz and Vivid conversations, I think, is where I'm really taking the focus, which, you know, I think on one side of it, it's easy to kind of look at both the SMG duos and then the AR duos on both of our squads and kind of pick pros and cons, maybe more pros for the SMGs, more cons for the ARs. But I think just seeing Vivid step up like he did in map number 1, not rely just on one or the other SMG to do it, but they're kind of working in tandem with one another, that I think has to be kind of another big key towards what could be a difference maker in a search and destroy that, just to reiterate it, we don't really particularly give favor to one team or the other. There really isn't enough data or results to really say convincingly that, oh yeah, LAG has played this map a lot, it favors them. Yeah, but at the same rate, Minnesota did look really good at it last week versus Carolina, so it feels like a little bit of a coin flip.
Yeah, we're just in the beginning of the season, man. These guys only play these couple of maps a handful of times, but it's not really the best. When we get to the end of the year, it'll obviously turn up. But you see these stats for both of these AR players. On one side, you got a world champion. 0.58 for assault. Kills per round, 0.4. That's not good. And then the opposite side, Big Wake. He's not been having the season that everyone is expecting him to. 0.55 in search and destroy. Both of these ARs know exactly what they need to do. And it all starts by just simply winning one of those one-on-one gunfights to start it all off, so you can win that percentage gunfight. You see, it's a little bit better for Awakening. 54.5% compared to 25% from Assault. But on a map like High Rise, those ARs need to be felt early.
Yeah, the opening duel win percentage, I think, is going to be really, really important to know. I think for Assault, he's 25%. It's 2 and 6 in particular. But you look to those other teammates, that's where a lot of the kind of weight has been shifted, is over to Fame and over to DiamondCon. To take these opening engagements, they tally the highest on their team, and they win 62 to 73% of their opening duels. So maybe if it's just one of those things for Assault, like, hey, just stay alive in the first 30 seconds, and then we've got ourselves a chance to actually convert some of these man-favored rounds that you were kind of talking about before.
And if you're Fame in a situation, like a guy who really just had the best series he possibly could last week. Yeah. Remember, like when this team was formed and they were playing a couple matches, Fame wasn't really having the best showing. But then that last match is exactly the reason why he deserves to be in this position, because he has that takeover ability. This guy knows what it's like to play multiple roles. SMG, AR, it does not matter. So he's comfortable in a majority of these situations, and that's what makes him good at finding those opening first 2 kills. I think Assault and Estrio, the other guys, who are around a 0.5 in those opening duel percentages, you cannot have that. Let's send Fame out there. Go ahead, bud. Go get that first blood. Let's go into 4v3.
Yeah, I like that call a lot. And it's just really interesting when you look at like the history of Fame. You know, I was really kind of blinded by his ability when he was running kind of just a main SMG back in Challengers. Yeah. He had this call out that he was talking to us about where he would tell his teammates, I'm blacking out. And that just means he's going to go and just completely lose track of the map and just go run and kill things. And when he was able to do that, he was one of the best players in Challengers without question. When he got picked up last year, though, it was like, hey, Fame, we need you to run a second AR. Don't even bother picking up a sub. And like, it didn't really open him up to be able to do the same kind of things. But it definitely feels like now in this year, Modern Warfare 3, LAG are fully understanding that, yeah, this guy is an X factor. We got to let him do what he wants to at different moments in time. But enough of the podcast about the pre-setup. Let's get into it. High-rise, search and destroy. Big map here for LAG, trying to tie this series up at 1.
Yeah, they need to tie this series up at 1, man. They need to come out swinging in this search and destroy. This is one of the only 2 search and destroy maps they have played on the season, this and Karachi. So they know exactly what's going on, as they're going to be the team on the attack early on. First blood already in from DiamondCon, beams them actually across the map, so already in the man advantage.
Yep, and that's, again, just keep an eye on that AR opening duel percentage. It's been really not a shining star for Minnesota in any form. Fame, top of the helicopter, does see Vivid for a moment, but nades actually push him off, so it avoids the gunfight a little while longer. And it looks like LAG are saying, hey, we know exactly where Vivid's playing from. Let's see if we can get a harder look here at A.
But
never mind.
Fame still thought that he was at the propane. He was probably jaw-dropped the fact that Vivid was standing on top of the propane. It blows up, and he still does not die. Eventually walks away with the kill, makes it a 3v3, but Lynz gets the info that the pressure's going to be over towards B. He's able to reposition himself, use a smoke grenade to get out, but now the B site is going to be free for LAG to potentially work this bomb plant.
Good follow-up here from Estrial, damage towards Lynz. They eventually track him down through the self-smoke. Vivid up top would have to scout everything out. Catches a couple of calf muscles of DiamondCon, but does not see Assault from behind him. Last player left is Big Wake. 1v3 situation, plus a defuse required for it. And he is in a world of hurt, has no idea if DiamondCon is pushed through. He's not sure where the exit from Estrial 100% is, and there's still the worry of Assault from behind.
Yep, and eventually Assault strikes. Eventually Assault strikes to lead to Guerrillas taking the first round. DiamondCon starts it off with the beams across the map to shut down accuracy. And then they just slowly work their way up towards the B bomb, get the info, find the kill onto Lynz, who's bottom mid. Then once it turns into a 3v2, you work towards that bomb plant. You get it down, cast the player towards top heli, and then Awakening in 1v3. Just too much to check as the Guerrillas walk away with the attacking round to start us off. But now they go to the defensive side where they tend to struggle a bit.
Yeah. And this just something to watch out for. Both of these 2 teams, on high res in particular, rank in the top 3 in converting rounds after first blood. So we may just be able to just call the first blood battle, and that might be the end of the round. See if that continues to be the case. Stuns over towards Lynz's direction, does scout him out, but no worse for wear. And for LAG, it just kind of holds your ground. No need to do anything too overambitious.
Yeah, they have this set up. They have Estrio on the top of the generators in towards the B site. DiamondCon in a nice little spot. Just watching this B street, eventually decides to pop up. Forces Awakening to change his positioning a little bit, but it's already 30 seconds wiped off the clock. Minnesota, they're trying to get information from top heli, trying to see how they're properly set up, but so far LAG aren't giving them nothing.
I mean, we got a game of tag going on over here towards Elevator Alley, and eventually Vivid is able to support, so DiamondCon this time falls for first blood. Wake will go up top towards propane. The rest of LAG still lowly playing around B. Fame for a moment you thought may have been scouted out, but no, Lynz actually still drops. So Fame's position safe. Trade comes through, time running out. Bomb being planted. Estriel down low, able to catch one. Bomb will extend the clock, into the 2v2 we go.
Into the 2v2, and accuracy, his position is now known. Can he win this gunfight? No, he cannot. Assault takes him down, so now it's all up to Vivid, the guy who got the bomb down. With the reposition and working his way all the way through back heli. If he could take down Assault and just play his life, he might be able to get just enough to win this round.
Catches him off the banister. First shots are good. Now the 1v1 with Estriel. And Vivid will just bounce back over. 18 seconds on the clock. Here comes the challenge. And Estriel getting the first couple of shots, but doesn't matter. Vivid just slides over and converts the 1v2, getting Minnesota another round on the board.
Yeah, that was just a good round right there. Good adjustments right there out of Vivid. Put that bomb down. He knows it's a 1v2. Assault just got to kill over towards helipad steps. So we're going to wrap our way back towards the backside. Find that first kill, check the bomb, and then realize that Estriel isn't on it. But once that smoke gets invested, we got to check the bomb, and he wins that up close and personal gunfight with that MCW to walk away with the round. Minnesota tied up at 1.
Very back and forth affair to this point. Opening first bloods, again, have determined our round outcomes to this point as well. Nades over the top. Minnesota getting aggressive through Elevator Alley. 3-man stack here. Nades across the map just to try to get some more defensive influence over towards A. And I think Vivid did see Estriel playing closer towards this A bomb.
Yeah, he definitely spotted him, but Estriel spots him as well. So he's going to try to get out with his life. But no, the nade comes in, and finally the propane take down a player. So Minnesota back-to-back rounds with the first blood. Vivid looking for the second, and he finds it onto Assault. Spots another one in the back of the base. It's now 2v4. Diamondcon, your position known. Minnesota have all map control now.
Only player they have not seen yet is Fame, hanging out over towards the offensive green hut. And Vivid did take a couple extra shots. Stuns will push him off the angle, and yep, Minnesota will say, no need to do anything crazy. Let's just take our 4v2, 35 seconds on the clock. Vivid eventually able to tally on a Diamondcon. That I think puts him maybe one away from streaks as well here. Fame figured out, dealt with. Vivid looking for the final kill. Doesn't quite finish off the last shot needed to take care of Fame.
He's trying to get it.
Yeah, they're absolutely trying to give it to him. They're trying to give it to him.
No one shoot at him. I got it. I got it.
Wow. I had a ranked teammate yesterday who said, hey, I've got 5. Let me get this final kill. And I was like, all right, do you. Seemed to be the similar call there.
Wait, what's the rank? Alan, what's the rank right now?
It's not good, dude. Let's not put me on blast on broadcast, all right? Let's just say we're having a good time playing.
Oh, we just gotta grind, man. You know, you end up on my team, you be my little hill kitten, and we'll be good. I'll get you up to gold, no problem.
I got you.
But Vivid shuts down the round right there. He earned himself a cruise missile, finds 3 kills on the round to shut it down, and on the back of the first blood again by Røkkr. Now put themselves up 2-1. With the cruise missile now being able to work with, now you're going to force the players on LAG to play it nice and slow in the back of their base, because that cruise missile is going to be able to take you down wherever you go. You don't have that trophy.
Love this call here from Vivid, just watching to see if he can catch him when crossing through the windows. Bomb leaning over towards Blue Alley, maybe thinking about getting over towards A. A lot of the nades over the top, though, may have caused some concern in trying to read if any defenders had actually fully crossed over, and there was a bit of a pause here with 60 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, but the good thing is when you're sitting in the back of the middle and you watch that cross, you're at least able to spot the back window. So he at least gets the information that only one player is on the right side. Everyone else has to be on the left, either underground or playing around this B site. And that eventually leads to Diamondcon finding the first blood. But information now gained. Lynz is there for the trade, 3v3.
Yeah, huge for Lynz to get one and get away. Trades went back and forth on both sides, so 2v3 bomb still in hand here for Lynz and the Røkkr, as well, looked like they wanted to rotate over towards A, but no entry point whatsoever. So again, first blood determines the outcome of the round, and we stay in a back and forth game of tug of war.
Yeah, that was just a good setup right there from the Guerrillas, though. Got 3 players over towards the B side. Diamondcon being watched over on that B lane. He finds the first blood, and then even though the trade comes in, accuracy tries to be the island player to sneak his way out through blue. He eventually gets taken down, and he put LAG in the man advantage. They trade efficiently to walk away with the round, tied up at 2. And they secure a defense right there. It's already adjustments made out of the Guerrillas to tie it up.
It's just interesting to see how both teams have kind of preferred leaning one side or the other defensively with these setups. LAG have really over-invested over towards this B alley. This time, a little bit more neutral, just kind of watching over the middle of the map first, and then there will be a bit of a break-off over to the interior at A. Estriel over to mid, trying to nade towards Elevator Alley. Doesn't connect with anything there, but Diamondcon at least gets a little bit more forward space to work with as LAG continue to kind of pick apart the map little by little.
They're slowly working their way up B Street. No one's watching this lane. You can work up through the elevator side. Just got to check top helipad, and eventually it leads to FaZe finding the first bullet onto Lynz. So now B is going to be in full control of the Guerrillas. They have everything set up. Let's just get this bomb down.
In a good place to at least see players cross in towards the site. Does get tagged, has to back away. Still a good look, though, over the top of the bomb site. Estro not committing for a plant as of yet. Finally makes his move. Shots are decent. Is there a toe hanging out? Sure is. Okay, 3v3. Bomb now down, confirmed at B. Minnesota still the onus towards them to try to still reclaim the site, though, with 28 on the clock.
Yes, time is starting to dwindle down. Someone has to commit towards this bomb, and now you're allowing Vivid the remaining time to slowly work up on this late flank. You're gonna have Assault that's gonna be in a position to potentially watch it. Can he find the timing on the kill? Vivid's gonna be able to line them up 3v2, and now they have them trapped in sight.
Completely trapped. FaZe down low. Diamondcon up top. First shot's good for DC. Also sneaks away towards the scaffolding in the same breath. FaZe takes down accuracy on the lower side. So Vivid, who's done it all so far for Røkkr, would have to do it again. 1v2 situation. First one free. Little spin off the top. No! Not going to work out. Quick reaction allows LAG to confirm the kill, and with that also the round.
Oh, he read the play beautifully. I thought he put himself in a great position, but fortunately the movement right there from Diamondcon just too strong. Even better hip fire to close out the round right there for the Guerrillas. They start off again with the first blood. They take control of the site even with the bomb getting down. When Vivid wins that gunfight, the other two players, they just won those one-on-ones, and that makes it impossible. Vivid tried his best. He now puts himself at 9-3. Still has that cruise missile to work with, but LAG take control again.
Yeah, huge out of Vivid for 2 maps in a row. Still down, though, overall, and Awakening still looking for his first kill. I mean, you think back to the years of Call of Duty that Awakening has been in the Pro League. It's always been Awakening getting double-digit kills, it feels like, in Search and Destroy maps. That has not been the case so far in Modern Warfare 3. That would need to change, you would think, for Minnesota to find favor here in this map number 2.
Yeah, Donut is definitely not what you want to have. Nope. Not in this situation. So we definitely have to turn that around. And Vivid said, it's time to invest this cruise missile. Let's get this info. But unfortunately, the trophy is going to block it. So now they know exactly what the setup is for the Guerrillas. But do they decide to change that a little bit? Astro basically thinks that he's trapped in towards the elevators, but he gets the timing to get out. And now he's in that B site with Lynz working his way up the ladder to try to get in B.
Minnesota seemed pretty confident that they knew that Estro got out of elevator. Lynz didn't even look that direction in any form. FaZe just running around over through Blue Alley, eventually clears out the helicopter steps. Estro down low, hoping for a gunfight. Something to get this defense a little bit more favor, but it's FaZe still just finessing his life. 2 kills for him in the round as the bomb gets planted, and it's all gonna fall to Awakening. This would be a heck of a time to start putting together a couple of kills. He's gotten 1 so far in this round. Estro down low, goes unscouted, and LAG, couple rounds now in a row, find themselves up 4-2.
Yeah, Awakening just, his information was known. It was all gained. He just got a kill, so they said, let's just trap him towards top propane. Everyone hold a different angle. We're going to be able to walk away with the round. But on the back of Fame, finding another first blood, they get that bomb down. They trade efficiently, and then in the 1v3, Awakening stands no chance. And they also withstand that cruise missile. So that's already a great round from the Guerrillas. 3 rounds in a row. Get the cruise missile invested. Now this ACD is basically yours. Back on the attack they go. I mean, back
keep finding first bloods. Yeah, just keep finding first bloods at this point. See if that continues to be the case. Fame nades over the top over towards B. The rest of his team just kind of floating at the moment through the windows, eventually looking to make their move over towards B alley, which again, this is that same triple stack that we saw earlier for Minnesota. Just kind of locking things up and around elevator. Lynz taking an extra step forward, maybe wanting to get aggressive and push extra steps if he can, pending what is the rest of his ARC behind him.
Yeah, he's just in a great position, though, to not allow anything to happen at B, because that A-bomb is very difficult to get a plant down. So as long as you hold down this B street, basically have everything cut off that you need to. Accuracy is going to be with his hands full, though, on the opposite side of the map as well. Just trying to get information if anyone's trying to put the pressure through blue. Now this is time where Estro is going to be able to strike, works his way into B, gets the info. Now he's able to get out.
Will there be any adjustment here from LAG trying to isolate these players? Backside elevator and over towards propane. Estro off the regen looking to re-engage. Vivid still seen in the corner. And eventually it's Fame who actually connects at long range onto Awakening. That is a 1v1 through elevator alley. Accuracy taking down Fame over towards the opposite side. Little follow-up. Vivid! Oh, perfect timing! Able to line up 2. Leaves Diamondcon by himself. First trade is free. Does he know that Lynz is nearby, though? Doesn't seem to. And Minnesota Røkkr able to take us back to a 1-round deficit.
Man, what a play by Vivid right there. Just in the perfect position at the perfect time. Two players try to work their way up through underground. He finds two, and then even though he does get traded, it's only 15 seconds left. And Lynz lines it up to win the round for Minnesota. Staying alive a little bit longer. Now down 3-4. On the attacking side, I would like to see a pace change right here from Røkkr.
I was just about to say.
Guerrillas have been able to just dominate this B street.
Yep.
They slowly start to pick you guys apart. Time starting to dwindle, and eventually when you have to make a play, there's just no play to be made because they have everything cut off. So let's just be a little bit faster on this run if we can.
Yeah, Vivid's going to confirm that one player has crossed over. Lynz should know that there's a threat nearby, and here is that tempo change. Lynz already super far forward, and Fame has absolutely no idea. First one cuts down to pieces. Vivid following on the second, and oh, it's just absolutely perfect. Holy cow, there's the tempo change, Jay, you freaking prophet.
We needed that. That's exactly what they needed. They said, listen, we are not messing with these guys over towards B. Like, Estriel's jumping on top of the generator. There's so many things that these guys are doing right on that side of the map. Let's switch it up. Let's go to the bomb that's a lot more difficult. And Lynz was able to start it off by just putting himself in that position out in the propane. He gets the first blood. I don't know where Vivid got the final two-piece. He had to have been top heli, but eventually Lynz finds the final. So 2 quick rounds in a row for Minnesota to tie the game back at 4.
What an absolute beautiful piece of timing to flip the switch as well. I mean, I don't want to say it's been like a slow game of chess to this point, but it really has been first bloods at long range. And finally, we have a bit of a narrative change. So, what can we see this round in a tie 4-4 game? Will there be new patterns that start to develop late into the search and destroy? Fame has already got up mid-alley and has a good crossing angle towards B. But the problem is Vivid sees the top of his hair. No worries for the easy kill. Vivid up to 15-5. No end in sight for the young man.
And he gets another information, at least the information on the Diamond Con, but the shots are not good enough to find the kill. DC makes it a 3v3, but Lynz is going to be instantly here for the trade. 3v2, advantage Minnesota. And they know that Estriel's just waiting to climb this ladder, so Lynz is just going to take his time in towards this B site.
Oh! But Estriel doesn't take the ladder. Instead, pops down low and actually has a look for a moment at Lynz, who forfeits the gunfight, and eventually its accuracy to kind of help give cover towards Lynz. Now a 1v2 for Estriel. A huge round number 9. And long range accuracy. Not gonna miss a bullet. Minnesota taking advantage going into our 10th round.
That's 3 rounds in a row, man.
Yes, sir.
These adjustments so far. 2 on the defensive side, 1 on the attack, but just simply stepping up in the pace. But it all starts on the first blood again, Allen. What a great angle right there from Vivid to find that kill onto Fame. Fame was trying to set up a crossfire with Diamond Con, but once you take him down, they're going to slow down on their attacking rounds. DC eventually does get traded as well. Accuracy wins the island gunfight across the map. The Dashy with that SMG in hand is not going to win that gunfight. Versus a name like Accuracy.
Yep.
Shoots like that. Minnesota now at game point.
And what do you call here if you're LAG? 3 rounds lost in a row over to a defense that you just got bashed over at A. And they're just going to pretty much forfeit it. Fame will give at least a line of sight over towards the A cross, but largely speaking, LAG are fully invested onto this B defense.
Again, this is their go-to. We shut down this B street. We should be able to cut off everything else. We just don't want to get first-blooded. Fame is going to be that player on the back of the base. A couple shots going down from Accuracy. He's going to be able to get out with his life, but you see all of Røkkr. They are not working this left side. They know they are stacked on this side of the map.
Salt getting tagged. Vivid focused on the trophy system, and in that moment, Diamond Con Chows finds first blood. Lynz trying, if he possibly could, to isolate for the trade, but won't be able to, and Diamond Con will punish again. Lynz up to 5 in a row, though. Backs off his elimination to at least retrieve the bomb, and I'll tell you how big could a late cruise missile be if he can earn it. It's all down to Lynz, though. Gets the first. There's the cruise, but it may not make much of a difference, as he will not be able to do much more in the round. LAG will get us to around 11, but the extra resource has been earned.
That cruise missile could play dividend in this round 11. Good job from Lynz to at least find that 1 kill. He knew the round was basically going to be chalked. 1v3 on a map like High Rise. Neither one of these sites is easy to get the bomb down, especially if you're not finding any kills at the right time. But into the round 11 we go. Røkkr with the cruise missile. Really curious who was able to outslay who. I'm thinking with Vivid having 15, not many other kills from the rest of the squad. It's got to be LAG on the defensive side. No, it's actually going to be Minnesota, so this is perfect. This is absolutely perfect if you are Minnesota. You invest your attacks over towards that B site. If they start putting the bomb down, call that cruise.
No trophy systems earned there, we saw for a moment. For LAG, they can't even go outside this back office area, if I read the stats correctly, no one was over 70% way of earning up that field upgrade. So this is so impactful. Everyone's just, no one wants to move. It's just, Lynz will eventually call this out. This will get a lay of the land, but LAG haven't given them any information because they can't go outside their back base yet.
They haven't given up anything, and with that cruise missile now getting invested, you get the information. You allow Minnesota now take more map control, get out of their base. So you know where the pressure's coming in from. You have accuracy on the helipad steps, potentially watching the crossover towards B, but Estrio's checking everything. He might be able to get this bomb down for free.
First blood traded back immediately. Assault tagged up in towards elevator, but Estriel gets the plant and sneaks away, trying to bait out shots as Assault is on the regen. Estriel now completely resetting. Accuracy, just hoping, praying he gets this 1v1 with Assault, which eventually he does. 2 kills good for Minnesota. Just down to Estriel. Would be a 1v3. Smokes himself. Feeling like he has to check the bomb. No one home yet. There's the double chow. The stun completely locks him into place. He's stuck in molasses. And the round 11, good for Minnesota. What a bounce back. 4 of what, 5 rounds they win essentially in a row? Unreal composure for Røkkr.
That's some serious ice, man. With the Iceman on your roster, Minnesota Røkkr. Walk away with the search and destroy. Go up 2-0 in this series. And what a play call right there out of Røkkr. Just everyone just take our time. No one drop. No one get first blooded. Because this S&D was all about the first bloods. No one drops right off the rip. You force LAG to now reposition himself once that cruise missile gets invested. You got to back up. If you don't have a cruise missile, if you don't have a trophy system, you are going to get first blooded with that missile in the air. But with the repositioning out of Røkkr, even with the bomb going down, trades go back and forth. Accuracy in his position just basically called game because he knows exactly where Assault was, trapped in towards the elevator. He knew exactly where Estriel was, at least jumps down towards underground. So he had all the information when it was a 3v3 to put his team in the advantage to walk away with the game. Røkkr just ice up. Now they're up 2-0.
15 and 8 from Vivid, nearly 3,500 damage.
3,500 damage?
Yes,
is he playing
sir.
a hot point? Oh my God!
He was everywhere, brother. He was everywhere. Wow. 2 cruise missiles from Minnesota could have been the big difference maker here in map number 2, a tight one, but the scoreboard leaning that lovely shade of purple. I guess both teams have a lovely shade of purple in their logos, but for Minnesota, things looking super positive that maybe the break and the reset they needed from the first 2 weeks into these last 2 was what the doctor ordered, because my goodness, they're looking clean, Jay.
That's clean, man. Clean hard point. Not as clean search and destroy, but you ice up to walk away with a 6-5, and now you are going into a Karachi control where both teams are complete opposites of each other. One's good on defense, one's good on offense. So it's going to be another square up in the map 3.
Going to be a good one. Plus, we also have a Skid Row hard point where both teams have had some electricity moments over the course of the last couple of weeks. So it's going to be a tall ask, I would say. First and foremost, for LAG to start to put together a reverse sweep, but a Karachi control is a bit of a playground for them that we've seen in the past. Can they provide and extend this series to at least get to 4? Again, for LAG, this could be a series win that confirms the upper bracket, whereas for Minnesota, a 3-0 would go a long way towards potential tiebreakers that they can close out with dubs. See how things go. We'll be back with the Karachi control right after this.
Don't miss out on all the action at the first Call of Duty League Major, hosted by the Boston Breach. This January 25th to the 28th at the MGM Music Hall at Fenway in Boston. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to callofdutyleague.com for more info.
The Painted aBeZy bundle is available now in the Call of Duty store. Inspired by the folk art of Oaxaca, this stunning bundle offers colorful, vibrant, and mythical items you gotta check out.
Welcome back there, friends, family. We're ready to go for map number 3, or just about. Currently, Minnesota Røkkr looking nice with it. 2-0 up on LAG. I'm Shift that study, and I think the biggest point here is Vivid is back and looking mighty fine to this point, study.
That guy's going crazy, man. Map number 1, he was the guy who really set the tone. 19 non-traded kills, and they thought he couldn't top it in map number 2, but goes 15-8. 3,500 damage. Like, he basically just played 2 back-to-back hard points. That's how good he's playing. And now that leads to Minnesota Røkkr being up 2-0 in full control of this series. No pun intended. Now we're going into control.
And that's the big thing here is, well, for Minnesota and LAG, haven't particularly been bad in any form, I would say, but Karachi's been an interesting one because you framed it up that each other's pros are the other team's cons. Good attacking stuff coming out of LAG, where the defensive items out of Røkkr have been clean. So as we start things off with those sides, it will be an initial attempt towards A, ultimately pushed back by Minnesota to start.
Yeah, already a great start for Minnesota. They find all the kills. Now they hit the reset button if you are the Guerrillas, and you basically have them trapped. You have Awakening already pushed out towards junk, so you know the pressure's not coming over towards that B point. It's all pressure over towards the chicken coop side. Accuracy and Lynz are cutting them down one by one. Accuracy from top 3 is able to find 2. LAG have not been able to find anything yet. Finally, Diamondcon finds 1. Can potentially be the thing to get him out.
Trying to work this through Coop side, though, and accuracy top 3rd could be tough to do. Gets them with the little left-right punch combo. So with that, LAG now control the left side of the map, looking to make their way on to stop this clock. 30 seconds is where it will stall out, and Minnesota off the respawn, looking to mostly hit this through mid-alley.
Yeah, they don't want to contest towards chicken side because they know they could potentially be a player towards bridge, a player towards top AC. Let's just try to fight it through middle, and that might come back to bite them as Ezreal finds 3, and he's instantly putting pressure on towards B. He does get cut down, but that's just enough to basically call A theirs. They're going to be able to extend this time. Minnesota might want to go for this one again.
Yeah, a little more focus towards Hotel here from Minnesota. As the second tick of progress will get locked in, and like you mentioned, no real concerned effort towards trying to re-attack over towards this A zone. Maybe a chance to find some kills off exit, though. They've been playing over towards red. Does get caught. Disastrial lighting him up, and now a hit starts to make its way over towards the Minnesota spawn for LAG.
And now they have Junkyard control to it. You also have Ezreal potentially put himself in the spawn trap positioning. They always spawn towards the back left side of Cafe. He's trying to find the timing to at least find 1. He does so, but the rest of his teammates don't find anything on the opposite side. Already, that's going to be 30 seconds wiped off of the clock. Fame in a position to at least open up a lane, but Vivid is still going to be the cutoff man. Only a minute left, and Minnesota still holding on.
Yeah, LA looked a little surprised that Minnesota were putting so much forward aggression through Hotel in towards junk. Ezreal once again, though, off his respawn. I mean, he's lighting it up. 8 and 4, eventually traded out, but he's the one creating a lot of issues here for Minnesota's defense to this point. It's giving his team a chance to try to find these breaks, but just as soon as he finds the kill, no one's following up for LAG. Diamondcon only able to get 1, and Røkkr will hold a marginal life lead as Ezreal again gets to work opening the front doors.
This is just a straight tunnel push. We're going to hit junk every single time, and we're going to be able to win a couple gunfights, and that's going to be able to put them in a position to stop this B point. All of Minnesota now, a little bit scattered around the map. You have Vivid going on a flank. He wins that one-on-one. Awakening finds a second. With those 2 kills, that might be just enough to slow down this push or eventually shut this one down.
9 seconds, 7v7. Awakening able to see that DC and Assault have moved over towards the back alley. Oh, and he's waiting for him perfectly. Now down to 2 seconds. Last player left alive was Assault. He will not be able to stand inside the zone. So how about it? It looked like for a moment their LAG behind Estriel's just pure individual efforts should have been able to break things through, but no one else was really able there to follow up.
Yeah, no one else was in a position to find a kill after Estriel find that 3-piece. And then when Estriel tries to push that towards the B point, he instantly does get cut down. I think it was just great reinforcements from Minnesota every time. They knew where the pressure was coming in towards red side. We just have to trade. As long as we don't lose these gunfights, we're going to be in a position to win this round, and they did a great job of doing so. Vivid was the first guy to start it off. He slides in, gets one, finds a second, and then you have a player in accuracy who goes on a late flank to eventually spawn these guys a little bit deeper. So Minnesota, they struggled on the defense early on, but they take defensive round number 1.
And Røkkr, like we said, have not been particularly great on their offense. We'll head over to a Røkkr listening to see if they can find success here at A.
Okay, hold I just fell asleep. Pinch. He's going up mid. Nothing on the left. He's going up mid on you, Joe.
That's all me. Help me, guys.
Nothing on the left.
There's 2 players.
Just keep going up. I'm going top.
I'm
Add the field. You can be the field. I'm going to go make up fast.
He's under plant? He was, yeah.
Cammy, on you left, Damicon. I feel, where left? He's like in the cubby, like the cubby. Nice 3, last guy, Adam.
I'm getting on.
I'm not helping you, Joe.
Yeah, you're good.
I'm gonna get your all.
They have a trophy, L.
Hi, bro.
Yeah, I'm looking top.
One's in diner. One's in diner. Oh my god.
They're set up. Get this cap.
Yep. Yo, on the secret hole. He can shot you.
In the hole?
Yeah, he was in the hole. He's trying to play for me. 2 red stairs, 1 in the hut, and 1's in our spawn.
He's
still in the secret thing.
Nice shit.
He's in the secret thing still.
I'm looking for a secret.
I'm trying to hit this guy, Joe.
I'm in the car.
After that.
I'll see any more to left.
I need him. I'm running this guy.
I can't see him. No, he's mid-cut.
Mid-cut, Damicon. There's a guy red. There was a guy top red.
I see him.
Top red, drugs.
Nice shit. I'm killing.
I showed you a kill, wasn't it? Watch out,
where'd they go?
I'm gonna get cross right now.
I'm climbing top AC then, bro.
Double watch mid cross. He could be mail on the show.
Cross. Yeah, I'm going mail. I have top AC, guys.
Double cross. Famous assault. Watch you cross. Watch you halfway.
I'm in it.
I'm watch out.
Push up. What's up?
You gotta get him. One shot plus. He's counting you.
One more on the wall.
He's mail. He's supposed to be already.
Okay, mail and one.
I'm going top.
I'm top.
I can play never.
I'm going to the left. Bedroom. It's on your left.
Anytime, Jay.
Lots of success there from Røkkr over A. They've got a ton of time, even still, to work with. 16 playing, 14, minute 8 on the clock, and Lynz has found a way to open up things to get into diner here if he wants to.
Yeah, this is where it gets a little scary because if you are the Guerrillas, you have multiple players going on flank routes, and if Røkkr are able to pick this up, they're basically going to be able to close out this round, but 2 kills already in favor of the Guerrillas. Lynz now the sole man over towards his B point. Information now gained. He at least finds one, but now how long can you play your life to allow your teammates to get back to you before you make a play happen?
Oh, I like that little jump up though from Lynz. He actually forces Damicon to spawn all the way down towards the S&D street. And a chance for him with help over the middle of the map. He could just kind of go prone and stop the clock if they need to here. Lynz just finessing for forever. The problem is, kind of like what Estriel was doing on the offense for the side of LAG, no one else from Minnesota is finding a way to help him out. So now Lynz by himself. Damicon over the top, able to get some tags, and there's just not enough assistance, it feels like, here for Røkkr. Lynz has to commit his life, and as he does, he essentially forfeits his own life, leaving Vivid now by himself. 8v9. Gunfights need to be won from the front here. Røkkr need help.
Yeah, Røkkr need help desperately because it's only been one player on this side of the map the whole time, but Vivid finds one, Accuracy finds a second. They can chain a couple kills together. They can still win this round. That's now 3 dead in a row. You're forcing all of LAG to either hit through Soda Alley or jump over the dumpster. And Lynz is in a perfect position to pinch him. He's going to be able to find one. He's going to be able to find 2. No, he's not. Assault takes him down, but the second tick is in. They still got a chance.
5v3. LAG have to go through Dumpster Alley. Vivid off the regen, looking to pick him apart.
Oh my God.
First one, now with Damicon, last one left, and the kill comes through. So Røkkr will take the offense by elimination, but the extra tick did get added, so huge advantages in tick progression as well if this eventually goes 5.
Yeah, at least you get that, but you might not want it if you are Røkkr because you know that defense hasn't treated you kindly all season, but they almost make that happen in those final moments. They won a couple gunfights out of red. You saw both SMG players, when they were on that B point, the other two AR players, they were basically stuck in their base. They could not get out. But finally, when they were able to get out, you see it get a little bit mixy towards the very end. Wait, Minnesota won the round?
Yeah,
what
they got kills? Yeah, they got kills.
Oh my God.
Yeah. 5v3 at the end, last kill. So now LAG have a lot to do here to get this thing back. Estriel just picking up where he left off from that last offense. Good first blood win. Fame staying safe on the zone. Assault watching over the top of him. That should be good for the first tick of progress, but Minnesota have full high ground control. So the lock is in for the first tick, but you've got Røkkr members swarming all around you. And I'm sure Fame is just saying, help me. I need some assistance, please.
He needs some help. And finally, Estriel takes down Vivid from top 3. So now you're living nicely in towards his 8 points. Second segment is already complete. Diamondcon knows we have to take our time on this positioning. This one player is definitely going to be playing for him, and he finds that kill as well. So A is about to be done and dusted. They're going to have 2 minutes and 20 seconds to try to complete over towards B, but it all starts by taking over towards junk control. You have to take down Vivid.
3 life advantage, lots of time. No need to do anything desperate in any form. Vivid, stunned up, still finds the first kill. Fame trying to follow up with a double of his own, trying to, again, regain some opening control here at Hotel. This time, likely to work with Diamondcon. Estriel kind of floating around through mid-map. He's continuing to be a thorn in the side of the Røkkr, as now LAG finally have at least some concentrative setup if they want to actually give this a go for a break from the front.
They're just going to wait, though. That opening kill is everything, and Assault finds the first. Now they're not even going to attempt to go into his ticket. They don't want to check multiple corners when they're working their way on that side of the map, but Vivid cuts down 1. Still Minnesota reinforcing on the right side of the map. Estriel on a 5 screen, but they find 2, they find 3. This might be the opportunity. That's all 4 dead. The stack needs to be in.
Trophy down, stack it up. 2 trophies down, why not? Put them in the same spot if you dare. And for LAG, they don't want to go through Dumpster Alley, so they're going to take the scenic route back through mid. Vivid and Awakening hitting through topside red. Lynz trying to get through Soda Alley. First couple of kills good for Røkkr on this retake attempt. We talked about LAG's inability to hold setups, and once again, they get completely foiled. Third tick of progress only gets the halfway, and accuracy make sure that's fully depleted.
Now you're forced to hit that reset button, but at least they get the close junk spawns. You have to win this next set of gunfights again, and Estriel starts it off with the first. Just all trying to team fight. Everyone conga lining right in through the ticket. And Lynz is in the perfect position to make something happen.
Oh, look at the overhead here, just picking apart the setup. Yeah, just nowhere to go for LAG. Life deficit now just cut down to 1. Map positioning all favoring that of the Røkkr. Vivid on the cross. Able to at least get a couple of tags in. Nades coming his way. Awakening right through mid just to make sure there's no quick cut over towards the red hotel. And it looks like that'll be enough for LAG to kind of take what they were given and try to use it as a way to manipulate the map back into their favor.
Yeah, we have to figure out another way. We can't go junk side because that takes a lot of time. We have to now overextend, find an opening through the back end, and Lynz is in a perfect position to at least cut a couple off, but he only takes down 1. You find a couple kills through the back end, you can potentially put them in a spawn trap as your teammates are winning gunfights across the map. The only player that can make something happen is Vivid. What can he do for Minnesota?
He's got to do it all, and he's not able to do anything. It's Estriel again. He's at 27 and 16. Mercy. And there's the stack for LAG. No worries here as they confirm the 3rd tick of progress, but Estriel is on literal fire right now. 27, and they're down 0-2.
That guy's like a walking 2-piece, Alan. Like,
maybe walking 3-piece.
Even long distance, this guy's making it happen. 28 and 16, 4,700 damage. It leads to the Guerrillas finally getting around on the board. And it was an attack, so now they're going back on defense. And we saw the way that Minnesota were able to do it last time. It was just simply off of kills. You got to try to put them in the bait, put them in the trap, push out towards jump, force them to spawn chicken coop, force them to overextend to make your life a little bit easier.
Estriel still carrying a 4 spree in towards this next round as well. Nades up the top, not even going to connect. And, ooh, hold on a second. Vivid is already pushed pretty far forward towards topside red. Actually slides out. He could watch this cross, but look at LAG's defensive play. They're trying to go all the way around the back, but Minnesota have sniffed this out. Fame will drop. First tick of progress going to get locked. Follow-up kills perfect for Røkkr. Estriel, last one standing. He's got nothing to work with, and you've got Vivid already on rotation.
Yeah, the whole team is off rotation. All right, A is easy to get done. Let's just hop on B, help me over on this side of the map, and that's exactly what Awakening is going to do. One player trying to go over the dumpster hop. It's going to be Estriel. He wins an insane gunfight, finds a second with a nade, and single-handedly shuts down that B push. Now you're forcing Røkkr to complete this A point. Diamondcon gonna try to contest it, but not enough. It's gonna be time extended by a minute. Minnesota currently up by 3 lives.
I mean, every time LAG have their backs up against the wall, Astral just comes out swinging to give his team a chance. So now the map positioning all favoring the defense moving forward, but Vivid just runs right out with no cause for concern whatsoever. He gets himself too. Røkkr not fully able to follow up on the eliminations. Lynz last one standing. He'll catch one in the cross, but really can't make any moves over towards B as Røkkr still continue to come off spawn.
That's a big kill though to take down Fame. Forward up through junk. You still have Lynz roaming around the back of the base, and now Fame off spawn knows that he has to play slow. We cannot allow this guy to go for a pinch and potentially break our setup, but not even Lynz. It's Vivid right through Soda Alley. Guns both of them off the back alley. Awakening finds the third, and last player is Fame. And can he find a couple kills to allow his teammates to jump over this dumpster?
Then he gets popped, just trying to play off this pinch. Re-wraps all the way down, gets caught over.
Oh!
Topside red, second progress gonna get locked. Vivid starting to light things up on 4. The whole team of Røkkr starting to streak.
Oh!
Last attempt to try to break through. Diamondcon gets 2. Can anyone else touch it? Time it has to come through dumpster, and it will not be able to happen. 3-0 the series. Everyone coming up wrong in predictions as Røkkr, calm, cool, collected, sweep LAG, and keep the upper bracket hopes alive.
Oh, Minnesota with the perfect break at the end, Allen. I just think right there for LAG, it was just way too tight of a setup. You let one player sneak on by. If he find a 2-piece, it's all broken down, and that was Vivid through Soda Alley. 2 headshots off of that half wall with that SMG in hand, starts it all off. And once you spawn them out towards the back alley, once you force them to start jumping over this dumpster, all you have to do is trade efficiently, stay down on the point, and the game is going to be yours. Minnesota Røkkr only had 1 win on the season, and that was last week versus Carolina. Come in today and get another 3-0 versus the Guerrillas to keep their winners brackets hope alive at the Boston Major, man. What a series from them.
And how about Awakening? 25 and 21, not the greatest numbers you would think.
5K damage,
5K damage, dude.
Yeah.
And 7 objective kills. How about that? Talk about cleaning things up when most needed to. We're on the other side, 30 and 20 for Estriel. Those are some unbelievable numbers, but unfortunately it is for the L. So Minnesota Røkkr coming with something different. We talked about it, 3-0 Carolina. That may have been what they needed to kind of trust the process, so to speak. And now another 3-0 here has their sights very well aimed towards potentially an upper bracket, pending they can win their final matchup.
And now it gets a little bit scary, Alan, because you keep in mind the teams that we have in what, 7, 8, 9? LAG, Minnesota, and Boston. They're all sitting currently at 2 and 4. They all have 1 match left, and there's only 2 spots left for winners bracket. So one of these squads are going to definitely be heartbroken, and it potentially is going to be LAG with that loss right there.
Very well could be. We're thinking 3 and 4 probably gets you into the upper bracket. Of course, it's not confirmed, but we've got the desk standing by with more breakdown analysis on our first match of the day.
Thank you so much, Shift and Study. And Alley Cat, we were all wrong. It's not the first time.
Open it up to
Won't
me.
be the last.
But when it happens like this, I don't expect it to be a 3-0. What did the Røkkr just do?
I mean, they saw us all pick against them. I was like, all right, watch this.
Nameless, a pretty close matchup, especially in the search and destroy.
Yep.
It was a great comeback from the Røkkr. They lock it up in round 11. Then I think most impressively was that game 3, Control. They showed you that they can break, they can hold, they can do it all on that map.
Yeah, I mean, they had a pretty great series. I mean, to me, this was kind of unacceptable inside of LAG. So many mistakes, you know. It's going to be that point of the season where you should be pretty on point, at least in stage 1 in some of these situations. I'm going to rewind a little bit to that search and destroy. You're up 4-2, Chris, in a fantastic situation. Offensive round. Why are you sending 2 people all the way through underground to try to make a play on their side? You end up getting 2-piece. By the way, Fame got first blood that round, so you lose that. And then in that round, right before the round 11, Lynz is 1 off of a streak. Why is Diamondcon flying out in a 3 versus 1 when you know he's 1 off of a streak? So lapse in communication. And then we can go back to map number 1. It's a neck and neck game. Why are we pushing P2, potentially flipping ourselves out of Palace? So easily identifiable, but very glaring issues on the side of LAG throughout the series. And we haven't seen that up until this point. So lackluster performance out of them. And Minnesota, kudos to them for capitalizing on it. Everybody playing well, especially Awakening get going in that game 3. It's good good sign.
Are you worried about LAG? It feels like they might be a bit of a coin toss every time they take the stage, Allie.
I've said it before, I really dislike inconsistent teams, and unfortunately, LAG kind of proved to be one today. Touching on what Ann said, map number 2, LAG had 7 first bloods. You've got to work on those conversion rates, guys, and this is a team that was trying to prove that they were traditionally good at respawn. Well, they keep that neck and neck game, and then they lose a full palace hill. So for LAG, they're just really struggling to close out these big leads that they're creating for themselves.
After this matchup, you're going to see Minnesota leapfrogging LAG in our top 8. Both teams sitting at 2-4 records. Minnesota, of course, having the head-to-head, and now a better map count record after that 3-0. Right now, though, we got to celebrate with the one and only Vivid. It's our monster winner spotlight. Vivid, you look good today, buddy. How did it feel?
Felt good. Our practice has been going good all week, so I was excited to get playing today.
Vivid, we actually saw you guys in player games a little bit before your match started. Are you all in an apartment right now?
Yeah, we are. Like, the facility is just like an apartment. We just all play from here. I think team's been doing it for the past couple of years, and this is what we're doing too.
Oh, nice.
Vivid, I want to ask you about Search and Destroy. So obviously it hasn't been your guys' strong suit so far in this game just yet, but you had yourself a hell of a performance. I mean, multiple rounds, you taking over, you guys giving up that first blood and still winning it. So talk to me about the improvements in S&D, what y'all have been working on.
Yeah, I think we've just been making sure our mid-round adjustments in mid-game are always working and we're not falling behind in the game, and then just taking the S&D practice as serious as we can, because traditionally it's usually fake, so we're just trying to make it feel as real as possible.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, you're just taking over here on top.
He sets the single map record for S&D with 15 and the damage record, if I'm reading that correctly.
Yeah, he was frying, man. And it seems like you're getting going. Obviously, you know, a lot of the community, they've been all over Big Wake, right? And they've been saying he needs to perform better, this and that, the third. He has himself a hell of a performance in that control. What has sort of been the issue with him so far, and how are you guys trying to get him going? Because in the construct of this roster, it does seem like he needs to be the guy that's having the big slaying performances.
I don't really know. Obviously, I think as a team, we just weren't performing very well. So, like, when we're just not performing as well as a team, it's going to be hard individually. And then the last couple of times in scrims, we've been playing more as a team, and everybody's just playing better individually. So I think that's the main factor, just playing more as a team.
Vivid, final question for you. You have an awesome fan base up there in Minnesota. They come, they support you guys with the watch parties as well. What do you have to say to the fans who are worried after an 0-4 start? You guys now have back-to-back 3-0 victories.
You know, we're working to get better. We're not to where we want to be yet, and we're going to continue to grow and get better, and excited to see them all at Boston.
Excited to see you in Boston as well, Vivid. Congratulations on today's win.
Thank you.
That's Vivid. That's Minnesota Røkkr with the surprise dub to start today. But we have 2 more matches to go. Toronto and Subliners will close it out. But up next, we got a team you're going to want to see. Before that, reminder, sync your calendar and earn big.
Never miss a match of your favorite teams with the Call of Duty League calendar sync. And here's the fun part. When you add a calendar, you'll also receive a squad up calling card you can use in-game. You can either scan the QR code on the screen or go to callofdutyleague.com/schedule. And again, guys, it's great to know when your favorite teams are going to be up to playing, and you get calling card for it as well. So go ahead and scan that code.
When does OpTic play? Well, my calendar tells me it's next, and they take on the Miami Heretics. So don't go anywhere. Match 2, final week of the qualifiers, coming your way.
Streaks, but making plays, obviously having a big performance there over at that Train Hill. This guy is looking to finally really pick it up. He's had a few slower maps, but I guess he's finally caught his bearings. Now 16-9 and forcing the issue on the flank. He's inside of their face, as that's going to be 5 in a row. How about 6? It's 6 for Capsidal. He is woken up and erupting right now on the Subliners, making 8 in a row. Boston feeding off the hype that this man can provide. 21-10. Big Cap. Welcome to the series, my friend. Woo.
Oh my God. Oh, no, he's bald. He's bald.
It's all gone. yeah, it's a lot of heavy.
What was the thoughts when you saw that you were having to match up against OpTic Gaming? What was said amongst the team, and how did you guys prepare for this matchup in particular?
Oh, we were stoked. I know from firsthand experience, if you want to beat OpTic, you got to get them in the first round. They just seemed to not have everything put together at that point. So when we got in first round, we were actually ecstatic. Same thing like in AW Champs when we pulled in first round. We were so happy to get them. To prepare for them last night, I kind of stayed up for like 4 extra hours watching a bunch of VODs.
When we're about to play FaZe, I think collectively as a team, we're just very excited just because it isn't like playing any other team. There's more than just the game on the line. It's like, you know, a lot more bragging rights.
I think the very first map is the most important map. If you go down that first map to OpTic, chances are you're not going to win the series. I think they have like over 90% win rate after they win the first map, so it just really comes down to that first map, I think.
When you go up 2-0, it's really hard to come back, and we're really good at sealing the deal and just closing the series.
They're one of the best teams in the world for a reason. You're not going to have like an easy match against them. We've been practicing pretty hard and, you know, watching a lot of film and stuff like that, so I'm just fully confident we're going to walk away with the W.
Ready to kick it off in the city of Boston, where champions are born.
If I leave, do you guys leave as well? Do you remember me from DMT?
No, I don't think so. Oh, if you're leader though, I don't know. Oh, I just got close by the jumper. No!
Jump! Get in!
I'll be honest, that didn't cross my mind. I was trying to send it in, boys.
He's like, hit me with it. He's like, come. He's like, get your over here. I like that for that 2-piece that he did on Tuscan Control.
You gotta slide on in. Dashy with the stun. Scuff, the perfect timing. The perfect timing. One last player. It's all gonna be under Pred.
City, you hear signs when we sleep. Heaven sent, hands down, vibes so unique.
Welcome back in. Just 3 match days remain before we head up to Boston for Major I. And OpTic, well, they're trying to sport a top 3 seed. You got to get through today's Miami Heretics if you want to do so. And you have to think OpTic are the favorites now. Miami started off red hot, 9-2 in map count, 3 perfect wins. But now they're starting to play the tough teams, Allie.
Yeah, I think they're still a strong search and destroy team. Don't get it twisted. When they were against Boston, they still went to a round 11, and it was kind of a first blood battle. But you're right, they had a little bit of an easier start of their schedule, and they're starting to feel the pain from it now.
Let's talk with the green wall here. We saw Pred taking a tortilla to the face. No water was spilt there. His gameplay is just as pure.
Yeah, he's been unbelievable. You know, him and Kenny have been leading the way statistically in these respawns and the hard points they've been going off. And, you know, to the search and destroy point that some people had early on in the stage. Well, they lost 2 round 11s to New York Subliners. Since then, they've been great in that game mode, I'll be honest. This is a team that has been formed to win championships, and Kenny has been the guy brought in to sort of be the captain of the team and fix these in-game situations where they lacked last year in pressure moments. So far, I mean, we've seen him multiple times in hardpoint win the game for them, literally single-handedly. And you could see for the Monster Energy pregame, Dashy, they hook kitten with the gun. He's got a 1.14 overall KD, 82% non-traded kill percentage, which is absolutely nuts. And then Pred, the anti-objective slayer, 1.19 overall, 33.6 seconds of hill time per 10 minutes, ranks 47th in the league. So we need him to start hopping out the hills a little bit more often and let Shotzzy shine a little.
I like that play style, you know. I'll break the hill, I'll clear it for you, and then I'm on the move here. You guys soak that time up.
They are top 3 in the 3 main statistics: rotation, hold, and break percentage. So hey, it's working.
It's all smiles there in the OpTic camp as you see Pred just lounging. On the other side, you're going to see a very locked-in Miami Heretics team. This squad started off 3-0. Since then, they've dropped a series and showed that they have some vulnerabilities. But I've looked at their highlights, and Journey, he's known for his spots. Man knows every position on the map that you can hide in. Vickle always is going to be running straight at you, and Metals and Lucky have been putting up ridiculous numbers.
Miami's going to be that team this year that has the capability of beating the top teams. We at first were putting them in the top 3, top 4 conversation. Now that we've gotten a little bit closer to Major #1, I think they might possibly be the underdog when we head into Boston. There's a lot of opportunities. So for the Monster pregame, the post-break rules, I mean, 3-0 and going into break, 0-2 post-break, and 3-0 in S&D before, and 0-3 S&D post. So again, their S&D is strong, but they have been struggling when it comes to that conversion. And then defensive masterclass and control. If they do have a strength anywhere right now, it might be in the map #3.
Nameless, some people are saying their last loss was a fluke. Today, if they lose against the OpTic, where do you put the Heretics?
I still have them in the top 8. I mean, I'm thinking about their last 2 games, right, Chris? And they lost, you know, 2 search and destroys to Seattle. In the game 5, they won 7-3 in the first blood battle.
Right.
So advantages. They lost so many clutches. There was like a 2v1 from Abuzah, a 1v1. So winnable game. And then they lose a round 11 where they also on defense, they had the advantage versus Boston. So I think Heretics are still a very good team.
Here's their maps and modes for today as you take a look across the 5. Will we get to that high-rise search and destroy, Allie?
Honestly, I think it's a big possibility. My biggest gripe with Miami was their map picks against Boston. They didn't really grab anything that they were strong at. That's not going to be the case here. They're going to have that evasion hardpoint to start off, and that Skid Row hardpoint map #4. So they're trying to set themselves up for success.
Are you guys all going OpTic here on the desk?
Yeah, I'm going OpTic. Game.
Don't even show me the graphic.
5.
Let's send it to the casters. We've got Chance and Brycey. Welcome back, Bryce.
Thank you very much, Puckett. Yes, we have a game on our hands here. OpTic obviously flying high in our top 4 of the CDL. On the other side, Miami Heretics, a team that a lot of people thought had done very well in the beginning, but haven't had a great time of recent chance, looking to upset the scales.
And they have the power of friendship, Bryce. Like, you know, Miami are just an interesting team. I think, you know, it's the sort of discussion around the league is there's the top 4 teams and then everybody else, but I think a lot of the teams are trying to work in building their chemistry, getting used to each other, having those vibes. Miami here, they have that in spades. Like, these guys, all good friends, living with each other in the States now, and I mean, this is a team that is always going to be a lethal threat. So you have Heretics, incredibly fun to watch, and OpTic on the exact same front, incredibly fun to watch. So it's going to be a very good series of Call of Duty we get, Bryce.
Yeah, it really is, and I even saw some clips from Twitter actually just before this one. Heretics getting ready for the game, the huddle up, ready. They know this is the real challenge. They've lost their last 2, but they can make a serious name for themselves if they do something here. They've got to go against the green wall. The question is, do they have a ladder just a little bit higher to get over it?
Well, they certainly have a strong opening break, at least. Whether or not that's the first step of that ladder, we get to find out. But good stuff early on. Shotzzy, though, of course, privy to the nerd spots. There's a freebie right there. And, I mean, honestly, just looking at that sort of setup, that does not look like it will ever be fun to break into. And, of course, as OpTic do break through, potentially thinking about that rotation as well. Kenny already making moves.
You see him now, it's going to be a big gunfight. He's going to catch him as well. Looks for the second. Vehicle is in trouble. Vehicle is keeping his head down and actually getting out there just for a few seconds. But Kenny, with the play onto P2, just made it look casual.
Yeah, and he's opened things up as well, so he's got Shotzzy there for the reinforcements. OpTic a bit staggered, though, because a bunch of old players are still fighting for that old time, but same thing for Heretics. That is 2 players that went and challenged that old time over by P1, and now OpTic actually have pressure everywhere on the map. Dashy gets to reposition and take it slow because you have bodies right now all over this map on Invasion.
Dashy just waiting, eventually will fall, but they are really throwing up the defenses here. Miami finding nothing on this mini-map at all. P2 is secure as it could possibly be.
Yeah, but look at it, though. They're reading the spawns again. That's the second time those, like, right-side palace spawns have come through, and Dashy is there to rip your head away. I think it was Pred, the first player from OpTic, that had to make that read, but, I mean, the spawn awareness right now is on point from OpTic. I mean, they built themselves a very sizable lead. Shotzzy, by the way, has yet to die. Him and Kenny both go on a 5 spree on that P2 hill.
Gliding across the map as well. Nothing slowing down Shotzzy. And P2 will fall. Maybe scrap time here for Miami, but they have the rotation. OpTic are going to be here first. Slightly going to be a 2 versus 2. Shotzzy looking for this player. Should be an easy cleanup from him as well. Pred finds another one. And 6-0 now for Shotzzy. He goes back in the hill to Chow. Vika will fall again. 7-0. There are no deaths on his sheet.
I mean, this is a perfect rotation as well, and not only that, like, his pistol bullets are connecting. That is a clean 2 burst with the Renetti. Means you know the man's shot is on point. Hill time being collected. Vision is there. Explosions around him, but right now Shotzzy can do no wrong.
Here we go. More pressure, though. His teammates have fallen. Shotzzy throwing bullets at the wall. Has Dashy as a little bit of cover, but knows there are people in the hill still. Going to be weak. Has to wait for this. Shotzzy should fall now, and he does. Eventually, the Heretics get a taste of what the hill will be as they finally get some points back on the board.
Yeah, and you see they are having to battle to get those points as well. That is a gauntlet they just had to run through to break into showers and still hit the fight for the final few seconds. Pred misses an extra bullet. That's enough for the Gunny, potentially for the scrap, but you actually see OpTic. They really wanted the scrap time. They don't get it. Journey goes on a 6 and gets a cruise missile while getting that little bit of extra time. In the meantime, for Heretics, they've won the rotation. They got 2 players posted in and around this hill. Shotzzy's movement is clean. Can he do enough to find that opening gap? It looks like that is the case, but it is just a nice spread. All to Child Lucky, who's posted in the hill, ready to go.
One more kill here. They can clean this completely, and they have done. And this is the thing about Miami Heretics, the thing we've talked about over and over again. They fight back. They are a scrappy team, no matter what happens, and they are now doing it against OpTic.
Yeah, that is a beautiful little hill for them as well. And not only that, they slam them hard enough just to get that 4-man wipe. You're keeping OpTic spawn in the back. You got players set up for the cutoff kills, that rotation over to Palace. I know for anyone that has played ranked play, we're starting to get used to the new hills. Well, it's the old patch still in the CDL, so the Palace hill still very much exists, and the Heretics will very much be there first. And even for these fights on scrap time, Lucky goes on a 3 spree, gets it. It was Journey, the hill before, that was winning for the fights for scrap as well. So Heretics, as you pointed out, really starting to pop off.
Oh, there's a table, and it is doing barrel rolls because it is flipping all over the place. OpTic will now have to assail the unassailable. Palace is being locked down by Miami. Let's find out how they deal with the pressure, though, with the Heretics listening.
Por compra, Dashy, un tiro conmigo, un tiro Dashy en el coche blanco. Dashy, coche blanco de plaza.
Tengo rachas.
Vale, Dashy, coche blanco de plaza, bro.
Creo que no abran pedo, ¿vale? No,
uno con conmigo ya, uno con.
Tengo derecha, ¿vale? Abren, Lucky, te va a
otro más Bedomo conmigo también. Dashy estaba colado en el coche blanco, bro.
Yo estoy mirando.
Kitchen conmigo, le doy 2.
No hay nadie, gente. Buscamos a uno, gente. Kenny. Pueden abrir, mírate el Bedomo, bro.
Está Bedomo, uno. Está en anterior. Bedomo, otro.
No, el Bedomo yo. ¿Me pueden ir a Incendio? ¿Tienes corta? No.
Tengo Incendio, te miro Incendio.
Tengo para yo,
Yo te tengo Incendio ahora. Incendio, se me cola aquí. Otro más en el coche. Coche Incendio. Otro más en carretera, Alberto. Sal.
No le veo.
Lo venden aquí.
Muerto.
Izquierda, Javi, buenísimo. Conmigo hacen.
Voy a jugar el agua.
Mírame el editor. Javi, aguanta, Javi, no mueras.
Estoy intentando morir.
Otro más el editor. Ven aquí. Os tengo el evento yo entero. Aguanta yo. Levanto de cara sin nivel.
Mientras ya, no le he dado.
Te tengo de buena entrada, Juan.
¿A quién buscamos? La fit.
And Heretic's not missing a single beat, and OpTic might be feeling that Spanish heat. This has turned into an unreal game. You had Kenny early on going on a 5 spree. He has since only gotten 2 kills. OpTic, they've been like desperately fighting for scrap time, and Heretics have been shutting the door in their face. Now you go back over to P2. This is the only hill where OpTic had a true amount of success. Cruise Missile's only going to stop one player for a few seconds. It'll still be a straight up 50-50 fight from the front, but Heretics, they are swarming around this new time.
And Miami can feel it. They have been completely in control ever since they lost that first set of hills, and now they're looking to put it to bed here. The P2 pressure is on. Kenny is feeling it. He's going to go down as well. Vehicle's going to fall to another grenade. Lucky's going to be on the point. Miami have broken through here, but Pred comes through with a massive kill that they needed. And Metals will be alive, but they do not have control of this point right now. Miami will take another swing at it because they have the opportunity to and the time to burn.
Well, Heretics don't even necessarily want the control. What they really want is just to make sure OpTic stays off, because they're going to be ahead of the rotation. As long as the time is white, Heretics are feeling in a fantastic position. Looks like though Shotzzy might have other ideas. The cheeky spot actually maybe doesn't pan off for him. You see how hard Texas are having to fight just to get that final 12 seconds. Again, Heretics, they have cranked the pressure up, and they are free and clear on this rotation as well. They are very far ahead of this game.
And now another one for OpTic Texas. Here comes the cruise missile that was earned so long ago. Will it be everything they need? There'll be a kill that doesn't actually come through. A teammate gets it before he can do anything. And while Miami Heretics are first in this hill, OpTic are sizing them up. They need to get in this. They are severely behind.
Yeah, Dashy's trying to sort of pierce the middle of this setup. There's the first kill he's able to get, but the trade feeling like it might be instant. Doing his best job of staying alive, and he actually has been able to regen. Moves towards the hill, though. You see the pressure and presence that Heretics has. All 4 of those players were swarmed right around the point. There are no avenues of entry. Heretics, the Vamos, might just reign supreme.
And this is it, maybe one last roll here. You can see OpTic's just sprinting towards the point now. They have to make these kills, they have to get in. Every cut, every trade must go their way. 5 seconds left, and it's just a dive for Pred, but it is nothing more. And that is unbelievable. OpTic started by building that 20-meter wall, and it turns out Heretics had a 21-meter ladder in their pocket the entire time.
Oh, and that feels good too. Smiles out and abound. I mean, OpTic is one of those teams that you play, especially so since they're towards the top of the league. It's intense, man. It can be stressful, but you see those players, they get the jitters out map 1 almost immediately, and now they're going to be feeling great going into map 2. But I gotta say, that's a hell of a game, right? Like early on, it was what, Shotzzy and Kenny both going on sprees. OpTic getting the break on P1, nice rotation over towards P2, but then it felt like a decent bit of sloppiness from the OpTic side of things, right? I mean, a lot of like the fighting they had on the scrap time over towards Showers, where that just turns into feeding Journey streaks. Journey, by the way, 21 kills, 3k damage, absolutely did his job on the map. But I mean, there was a few hills, even like Back Palace, where OpTic had the pressure around the point to try to like fight for maybe 20 seconds of scrap to get the break, and we're just so slow on the approach. So the early successes they were having in these moments completely faded away, and Heretics turned this map into outright domination.
Yeah, I mean, even just look at this first set of rotations again in the replay. You can see OpTic's like, hey, they're doing a great job. They got that kind of chain back to back. They broke it. And then all of a sudden, everything just went wrong. You can see Heretics turning up here. They got the big hold. OpTic not only kept fighting for it, they never had a chance to break through in any other part of the map. And it just went from bad to worse. They couldn't even get back into P1 after Palace.
Yeah, and that's, yeah, I mean, it was like a couple of hills in a row too, like on the lead up to Palace. Like we talked about how they were fighting Journey on the breaks and Showers. The next hill was Lucky posted up in the hill where they're trying to fight him with 10 seconds left and losing the gunfights. And I mean, you just end up getting behind on rotations on this map. It never feels good. And I mean, sort of a crazy stat line I think we saw as well, or at least on the scoreboard of like, Kenny, it didn't seem like was slaying, but I think he might have out-damaged everyone on his team. So it just felt like sort of a disjointed effort there by OpTic, who at this point, maybe no stranger to a bit of a slow start.
Wow. A slow start or a slow end, we'll have to see. And this is the difference. You can see where that game turned completely around. For 4 hills in a row, OpTic were basically flat. 6 points. On the other side of it, almost 155 for the Heretics. And that is ridiculous when you see it in graph form.
Yeah, I mean, look, a flat line is really never a good situation, I suppose, especially like if you're in a hospital. But a flat line in hardpoint, not a good thing either. Especially so, yeah, that 4-hill extension is completely absurd. So, I mean, again, shout out to Heretics, completely flipped the switch, got ahead of the game, and never looked back. But the bigger question for this Miami team right now is, before the break, when they were looking good, playing against the bottom teams, their S&D was on point, winning a ton of rounds, had a very nice record. Post-break, 0-3. Yet to win a search and destroy against teams more towards the top, which OpTic absolutely is. So this is a very good test for them on Invasion to get back in the swing of things for S&D, because make no mistake, it's not like these guys have been getting blown out. They are absolutely making plays on the map. Some of the teamwork that they showed when they were playing Terminal S&D against Boston was absolutely fantastic. But still, if you're losing these close games, it's going to hurt you long term. They want to see a win here.
Well, we'll have to find out, and I will give another little bit of a caveat to this situation. This has been the first time I've seen OpTic actually come out slow and then turn it all around. We'll have to see if they do it this time, but here are some beautiful S&D stats for these teams. Obviously, Metals looks good with a 1.12, but not in comparison to Shotzzy. A 1.47 is a crazy statistic in S&D.
Yeah, no, his output is fantastic. Like 0.85 kills per round. That's around like, you know, top 5 in the league. So Shotzzy is going to be ever present on both offense and defense. His damage is on point. His KD is absolutely bonkers. And I mean, obviously, everyone at this point is familiar with Shotzzy's game. We got a nice glimpse of like his superstar potential, even in like the first few hills of that Invasion. Definitely going to need to bring that to the table, though, on Invasion. A little bit more pressure on the squad, but always an electric player to watch.
Well, let's see. For Heretics, though, I will say when we talk about the S&D, it has been quite close for them, and they want to run with this momentum. We said before, right? Realistically, Miami Heretics do have incredible chemistry. I said before, I saw this thing about them all getting around, getting their heads ready for this game. They are taking this about as serious as you can do. They know what stands ahead of them. For OpTic, whether it's just a flat start or a little bit of miscommunication out of that hard point, they want to put it behind them. This S&D could dictate the rest of this series.
Yeah, and it's going to be a pretty massive like pace switch as well, going from hard point to search and destroy on a map that can come to a screeching halt on Invasion. So an opportunity for, you know, collect your breath, get the vibes back and flowing. And you see the spot Lucky's going for it. Shots getting exchanged. He's just looking for the cross to see how many players cross the B, and it's only Kenny who's actually made the break over towards that B site, being left on an island. And obviously for Kenny, no trophies yet in round 1. Might be dealing with some stuns and nades, or maybe even a smoke for Metals in the future.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. There's different breaks and setups for everybody in round 1. Got to be a little bit more careful, a little bit wary of the timing for this. No trophies yet, and you can see both sides doing it as well. Just waiting, trying to get this information on this mini-map that will give them an idea of where to push or where they could potentially find a pick. Also, Miami will have to be the team that makes a move eventually with that time burning down.
Well, there's the first shots being exchanged. We'll see how OpTic want to react, because Kenny's calling out 2 for the pressure, so might need some reinforcements. But keep in mind for Heretics, they still have pressure around like P1 as well, so they're keeping their options open. But with 30 seconds left, they got to start to go. Smoke's out, and it looks like the dash might actually be across mid. Metals is playing with it.
Oh, Kenny just caught it out. I haven't reacted to too much. I've held the position, but Metals finds Dashy, and now IA is all open. They've all fallen. Everybody down. Miami Heretics, the slow crawl towards Absolution. What a ridiculous connection.
Yeah, absolutely setting up for the kill. I think the focal point on that play honestly might have been the players on Heretics playing inside of P1, because there was never a thought or idea for those guys to wrap back and go over towards the B side with the bomb. Instead, they smoked off Kenny's line of sight so Metals could sneak in through that dark alley, and then everybody just pounced on the middle of the map. So Heretics sat there, absolutely took their time, read the pressure on where OpTic was on the map, and I mean, that is literally a perfect round of S&D. Every player getting a kill.
The question here actually coming in from Miami. They're trying to get them on the cross. They have got the information. So do OpTic react to this and just put the pressure on? At the moment, they are looking down B Street. Is there anyone here to stop us? Miami have rotated all the way back.
And look at what Pred's going to have to do on the map because they had so much pressure down that, like, A street. He's going to be, like, waiting for Ghost to appear in front of him around gas. So might be a 4 versus 3 sort of situation for OpTic for the moment. But smoke's out, and that is a perfect smoke at that. So much pressure now around B.
More open for Journey. Kenny, they're holding them as well. They have not got anywhere here, and OpTic have found their way into it. And it will now be Miami that have to run into the guns of them. They've already lost a man. The rest of them stacking up. Medals will get one back onto Kenny. Shotzzy on this, has a player to his right. He dives around it. Did the player get through? He did, and Medals has found a second. Shotzzy goes from a Medals with another. That's 3 in the round for him as well. And OpTic have crumbled here onto this one, and Pred will have to try and make something happen. But I'm fairly certain that's the ace for Medals. What a round!
I mean, look, he bonkers as well. His stats might have been slightly behind Shotzzy, but he is there to make the big plays as well. And I'd be laughing too. That play was perfect. I mean, again, all the pressure that they showed down A Street, it backed Pred up to a deep corner of the map. And guess who was just out of the picture when this entire fight is going down? Pred, nowhere to be found. Heretics too quick to go and swarm and retake this site. And I gotta say, I mean, there's no trophies down from OpTic either when Shotzzy's planting the bomb. So I don't even know if that is a perfect round for Miami, but the shots absolutely were. That is insanity. Back-to-back rounds were Miami. That is exactly how they want it to happen.
They must not have been expecting the hit from all in one direction, but don't expect it just from Medals. And now again, the pressure for OpTic. They have not had a good couple of rounds. 1 kill between them in 2. Priestahh has pushed up. He's been seen, and he will get Medals out of the game. And that is taking a lot of map control away from Heretics.
Yeah, and you like that response from OpTic too, right? Getting aggressive down this B street, making plays, and instead of letting Miami sort of play like a fiddle, now you get Pred doing what he does best. Could have assassinated, but he'll take the first 2 kills. Dashy for the next in. OpTic, again, looking for some sort of response. They absolutely deliver. Now Lucky just in a 1 versus 4 in between a few, gets spotted and gunned down. Pred out here making plays.
That's what they wanted. That first blood, that opportunity to put Miami on the back foot. Don't let them just creep up the map and take all the control. OpTic, maybe the play call has come in. We've got to change what we're doing. It isn't working. That is a round they desperately needed on the board.
Yeah, and with early rounds like we just had for Miami in that response, this is actually going to be the S&D game that's sort of played like a chess game. Because already if you're OpTic, you're back on offense. You have to be very cognizant of, well, Miami last time just double hit up that A street. They put all the pressure on. We want to respond to it. We don't want Pred out of the picture. But if they're leaning towards B, maybe more of a default setup or maybe a scattered push. Maybe OpTic trying to play chess, waiting for their move. Making the adjustment now, working back over towards A, but figuring out that game plan on the fly.
Shotzzy's wondering if he can go straight for this and hasn't seen anybody tank, nobody else anywhere. OpTic, they are a little bit compressed for this, but that bomb will now be down. It's all about P1 control and just keeping Miami away.
I don't know if that was figuring out the game plan on the fly or if they faked a bunch of people on the cross for the instant plan, but whatever the case is, 4 men down, or 4 men up rather, with that bomb down. And Vehicle, he's thinking about that hop.
He wants it. Have they got cover every single direction? That's what they're asking for. Going for this now. OpTic have got a kill. That is huge. They might have to back off. Medals going for it, but they're going to ninja it. Nobody has checked this bomb, and it's defused. It was a tight, compressed setup for OpTic, but it gave up bomb site control.
Yeah. Straight up chess game. I think OpTic just faked a couple people on the cross to B because they instantly planted back over from A. So they're playing mind games and Vehicle just responds immediately. He gets near the bomb but waits a few extra seconds. He's just waiting for the call from his teammates to be like, yep, I've got this street. B-Dom's covered. Like, we have everything. You are now safe. Go for it. And the timing on point. Miami, everybody on the map doing their jobs. And that is a hell of a round. Miami playing incredible S&D right now. 3-1 lead.
Yeah, I think Vehicle was probably stressing just a little bit when he saw Pred get that first kill onto his teammate, wondering if that door was now open for him to be shot, but nobody ran through it. And Miami looking to see if they can go again here. More aggressive from them. Shotzzy has actually got a player nailed in. There's Medals going down. Shotzzy, can he use his movement to get out of here?
Oh, hello. Movement's found him a brand new spot. Yeah, that is incredible I don't even know, gun strength, foot strength, but question is, does it get red? And yes, it does. Shotzzy might be a genius, but Veagle's big brain too. Guy speaks Mandarin and has the gunny. 3-2 man advantage for Heretics.
Kenny setting up a passive position, hoping for a kill here on the cross. Pred also playing passive, but a little bit exposed. He might not have the sufficient lead for a trade, but it depends if he can get this first one. Lucky goes straight through. Lucky has to get down. Vehicle goes for it as well and does get the trade out of this. Kenny will get one back as well. Now 1 versus 1. Vehicle running for his life. Tagged up with nowhere to go.
Barely any time too. And Kenny, yeah, ripping heads along the way. Vehicle hasn't found the opportunity even to cross out to make things mixy. And Kenny knows whatever bomb site Vehicle goes to, it has to be the hard commit. The nade, though, gonna back him down. Kenny knows the plays of day.
And now the question, does Kenny channel this? And he does. Kenny moves forward, and that is a read by Vehicle. Vehicle says, I'm going to throw the bomb, get you weak. If I get out here, I know you are channeling. Does not plant, runs the flank. That is chess. You are right. They are reading each other like a book.
Dude, and it's a hardcore chess game, too, for Vehicle. Again, there is no time on the clock. If he goes for the plant, Kenny almost assuredly going to check it and just get the freebie kill. But instead of Vehicle waiting for it and sort of guessing 50-50 what direction Ken's going to come from, he just flies at him, catches the timing, and breaks him down. Every single round from Heretics, there has just been either incredible teamwork or incredible decision-making or a little bit of both. OpTic Texas right now, they are feeling the heat.
They really are. Looks like a beat push from them again. Vehicle getting those nades out. Medals taking up an up front position. But they are. I've got a couple of players here. This could all go down to first blood.
This is obviously the spot that Shotzzy was around too, where he got the first blood. So OpTic have to be aware, and smooth moves again. Movement like that buys you first blood. Shotzzy, a hell of a way to get it.
And this opens up for him. Vehicle doesn't have the reinforcements apart from through dark, and Vehicle's actually just going to call that out. Hasn't said anything, hasn't fired a bullet. Calling for reinforcement of his teammate. He could get bad timing here, though, and he will fall. 2 versus 4, 4 versus 1. Lucky left alone, and down he goes. It was all about that first blood chance.
Yeah, no sneakiness there, too, right? Vehicle, again, trying to make one of those heads-up plays, but despite the fact that he had the trigger discipline, OpTic still making sure they stay on point, check the corners, and take him down. And as you pointed out, yeah, Shotzzy just a nice little hop-up spot, able to sniff out Metals. Sort of an interesting play, right? Shotzzy gets a first blood from that situation. Metals tries to respond in kind, but Shotzzy staying ahead of the game. Still down in round count, though. OpTic, they're working for these rounds, but still have a decent ways to go.
Well, let's see. Fighting from the back foot. The defense here would definitely put a bit of wind in the sails of OpTic Texas. For the Heretics.
Yeah, sorry, I was going to say Shotzzy is the one playing over B by Ken, so there's been adjustments made, and OpTic trying to play a lot more aggressive down A, but already they fall to the first blood, so another advantage for Heretics.
There is a benefit. They've taken some map control around A. Heretics have changed their setup. They're being a bit passive. They do have the numbers, though, but Kenny already finds one. Needs to get away clean, and he does. Feet on fire, bullets hitting the ankles, but still away.
And this is so much more difficult for Heretics now, but maybe in the difficulty, they just might come out on top. Kenny gets caught. And Pred potentially that next man in line. And if they didn't know where he was, the stun lands at his feet. Pred now in between 3 and dropped. Tack usage, it literally does not get better than that. Shotzzy looking for the 1v3.
Basically put that in his pocket. Shotzzy, though, his movement's been great, but can his clutches be greater? This is what they need him for right now. Looking for a Heretics member. He hasn't found any as he clears out P1. There's the first one. It's a beatdown, but Lucky throws fists faster. And Heretics 5-2.
And again, it's just like a deep playbook these guys are working with as well. They've played for picks. They've bullied out different sites. They've been aggressive. Well, this time they slow the pace down. Even after they get the first blood, still making sure they're taking their time, set up for the trades. And the Kenny trade, it might have taken a few extra seconds for them to find it. But obviously they're saving nades and they're saving tacks as well for the deeper portions of these rounds. So Miami's still on point, and now they are on map point as well. One more round, and they go up 2-0.
They're feeling confident. OpTic looks like maybe a B hit again, trying to worm their way through that street. P1 control for Miami.
And Metals, yeah, he's seen all 4. Maybe just the third. I guess Pred might have been a little bit late to actually get spotted on the cross, but OpTic, at least this time, are more grouped up together, so It's similar to a round we've had before, but Pred more in the picture.
Wonder if that smoke's going to come out again to then get onto the point. You can already see a bit of pressure coming through Journey. On Tank, health has come back, but it is going to be OpTic making a full commit to the B site.
Journey right now is worried about a few different things, right? Worried about the pressure towards the middle of the map, worried about the dark alley chow, so he's worried about flanks. Everybody else on his team, though, they know the bomb's going down, and the first blood, Dash is able to get it. So a much different round now OpTic have to defend this site, but Metals and Journey, we're gonna gather through dark, even up the odds.
Bait and switch worked out for them, but unfortunately, still a long way to go. They've got to go through every chow, and they've split up, trying to work this from two different angles. OpTic have this advantage. They should not be able to throw this round away.
Those are nice shots from Metals, too. Journey and Kenny, by the way, just had a 15-second game of hide and seek. Journey comes out on top, but there might not be enough time, or maybe there is. Shotzzy for the 1v1 through the tractor. Him versus Metals, and Metals guns him down. The 2 versus 3, they're able to deliver for a 6-2 win. The power of friendship is out of control.
The time was against them. The position was against them. The numbers were against them. Miami Heretics did not care. They found the kills. They found the time. And they found the win. That is a ridiculous game of S&D that realistically people should study because Miami looked incredible.
Yeah, every single round on point with different ideas. And like OpTic had a few nice ideas in the middle of it too, but that was just Heretics' game. Even for that 2v3 at the end, that's a round absolutely worth watching again and breaking down because that is just sort of that like Heretics teamwork, everybody completely on point with just like the timing that you want to have of who's channeling what gunfight when. I mean, they just completely handle business. And again, as you pointed out, there is like 18 seconds left on the clock, maybe, when it was still 2 versus 3. And I mean, Journey had to go and just hunt Kenny down. So, I mean, that is a minimal amount of time you're able to deliver. And that is 2 maps for Miami on Invasion where they look absolutely class.
Doesn't even look like a 6-2 in the kill feed. Like on the scoreboard, I was looking at the slang. I'm like, doesn't look like a 6-2, but 6-2 it was. And if you were just watching this, you wouldn't think these teams were ranked very differently to a lot of people watching. 250 to 137 and 6-2. But we've seen OpTic bounce back before. Can they do it again? Can they light a fire? Or a Heretics just found different form this week, Chance?
I mean, look, that's the big question. I remember watching some of the watch parties when OpTic were playing against Vegas, and as soon as OpTic got that ball rolling, in like the first round of the control, there was a lot of people that were like, nope, OpTic's got this series in the bag. I think this might be a bit of a different vibe. Heretics right now are on point.
Wow. It's going to be one of those, a game before the major for these two. Miami Heretics, underrated or just a good first 2 maps? We will find out for OpTic Texas. They want as much wins as possible going into the major, as much practice as possible, because they want to walk away with the first one in Boston. We will find out how the rest of this series goes. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more Call of Duty League.
Call of Duty League is brought to you by Monster Energy, the official energy drink of the CDL. Don't miss out on all the action at the first Call of Duty League Major, hosted by the Boston Breach, this January 25th to the 28th at the MGM Music Hall at Fenway in Boston. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to callofdutyleague.com for more info. Start the season strong with the Call of Duty League Pack. Grab yourself the CDL Operator, Weapon Blueprint, and so much more. Check out the Call of Duty store in-game now.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Call of Duty League. We have a great game on ahead of us here. It's OpTic Texas versus Miami Heretics. And Miami are looking like the superior team so far. But before we go forward into the next control, we're just going to go back a little bit. Myself and Chance were actually talking about some of those S&D rounds. And it's kind of curious for me, Chance, realistically. We were talking about the wall bang spot, and that's probably how OpTic ended up playing it.
Possibly, yeah. It was when Vico goes for the ninja defuse, like right before he hopped it. Kenny was trying to wallbang him in through P1, but I don't think he connected with anything because Vico hadn't quite gotten there. But that might have been a very small detail as to why OpTic lost one of those rounds. But either way, the story is just Heretics have absolutely been on point. Now we go to Karachi, and it is a aggressive B hit straight off the rip. And for OpTic, nobody is home. Dashy is the only player that can pick up the cross, and Dashy is dead. Everybody from Heretics, they've just found their new home.
That is not the start you wanted to see. If you're an OpTic fan, they are already into this point, looking for a Pred, trying to find one to Lucky. Meadows getting away with his life, trying to go over the wall. Dashy, that's a huge kill from him. The first tick is in, but Vico is now outnumbered, but not outgunned. Finds the first, not the second. Great recovery there from OpTic.
Yeah, nice swarm indeed. Everybody getting right back into position, and I think that might be one of those sort of Dashy bailout moments where if he shoots a little less straight, maybe he doesn't win that kill, and maybe that B zone collapses, but all said and done, it is an extra tick over on that B zone, but right back to sort of that 50-50, that slow approach towards A. Eagle, just pick a corner, any corner. Good luck trying to survive. OpTic have sworn the hill for all these kills.
Yeah, Lucky tries to play his life and get away here, and it looks like Miami has gone, all right, well, A didn't work, let's go B again and give it a second go. It wasn't cleared down as well, so that tick is already halfway done. I was just trying to hold it for his teammate, trying to make sure that nobody else can get through as they get that second tick just onto the board. Metal's flying out the back, but it's a huge win. Will be traded by OpTic themselves. That first tick still to go. Journey left alone here. Still has an opportunity. Doesn't win the gunfight. Kenny to the rescue. OpTic recovery again.
Yeah, Kenny on point with that one. Yeah, a 6-0 start from him. Maybe shades of what we saw in the first invasion, but that is a B zone that I think falls the majority of the time. Instead, it is Kenny setting up players for the kill, forces the team shots to come through. And for a round where Heretics actually still have a decent bit of pressure on the map, they are running out of time, 25 seconds. And by the looks of it, they're trying to figure out if they want to force B or not. They're coming this direction. Kenny is still the man to deal with, and Kenny is still the man they cannot stop.
Oh my goodness, Kenny on a nice streak, flawless and unstoppable. Miami Heretics are not expecting a monster in the form of this man here on the point. Should go down. No, he does. Okay. Meadows will get him. A lucky turn, a lucky burn, and Miami Heretics have a chance.
And nobody else is home from OpTic. Like, they're still trying to defend the A zone. B is gonna falter. Kenny just put on a Herculean effort to protect this zone, and instead Miami gets it. And now this is a big question on Karachi. If you give up B first, is it possible on defense to hold A? By the looks of it, no. Heretics are gonna jump on it instantly and potentially close that door. Last man to fall, and the round follows with it. OpTic, I mean, Kenny just started off 10-0 and they lost the round.
Oh, I don't even know what we are watching. I thought before this could be a good game. Miami Heretics are not a team to take lightly. But everything we have seen so far, I know it's early in the control, but what a thrill ride every step of the way. OpTic are going to be feeling a little bit sick about that.
I mean, it just felt like OpTic were like almost out of position the entire round. I mean, they got just hard blind counted off the opening break, and they still like adjusted. They re-swarmed over towards B, like only one tick came through and they stopped it, and then they just never had pressure on that side of the map again. So OpTic right now feeling some pain.
Well, let's see if they are feeling the pain in the comms. And OpTic Texas, listen in.
top castle, middles.
He's going fire, I think. Fire?
Lucky top castle.
He didn't touch.
Drop me cut,
I can't say not sure.
Almost top castle.
That's one HP.
That's last two. Wait, what does, useless, I'm in. Useless? You're in.
Wait for lucky, journey.
I'm hitting at the left for you guys. We're in.
One shot on point.
Give me your useless.
That's
two. I hit at the left.
Give me a second, I can flip to you.
I'm hitting fast.
Okay, looking for two. Lucky and Vickle, bro.
How about the right?
Still top. Nice.
Ready
for Lucky. Lucky's.
I'm top line now.
That's Lucky. I'm here. Give me a second.
You don't want to be.
Make sure you get the head. I'll be back alley. Another back alley.
Back alley. The all right back alley.
Back alley. I'm holding back alley, bro. Back alley. One shot back alley out too. They need it. I'm trying to chop back alley. Back alley. Metal. Two more, Ken. Other guy's weak. You TK. Weak Vickle. Back alley. Look for Lucky. Let's get back alley. One shot. All back alley, bro. Nice. Make sure you stack this shit. Nice. Try to stack it again. Live it. We have across.
You back alley.
Nice. Just one point. I'll look long.
Watch your back alley. Literally bullet.
Get back alley. I'll look long.
I know the back alley. One there.
Blood point.
Flooding.
Yeah. I got naded one shot. I don't say anything.
I'm holding back alley. I have the help.
And OpTic have come alive in the comms and come alive in the round. Massive effort from Shotzzy there to get them down, and a few team kills from Miami Heretics put them on the back foot.
Yeah, there's been a lot of lining up in team kills this game from both sides, but Miami's certainly feeling the more painful end of that one in that moment. I gotta say, though, you know a team is focused when Shotzzy just obliterates 3 people. Basically, nobody has any reaction. They are just all about their business, calling out the stacks, calling off the spawners. So if OpTic weren't focused before this series started, they are locked in right now.
That's what they needed. They absolutely had to hit another gear. And if we've seen OpTic before, once that gear gets hit, the game can change, and that's what we'll be looking for. Bodies, though, into this point. Straight in. A rocket on the ticks.
And I mean, what, Metals is the lone man sent up for the cutoffs, but now you know exactly what direction you need to look. It is a trade fest everywhere on the map, but that triple stack might have just put on the pressure. Is it good enough to get this early capture? Yes, it is, and that is going to be the most time you could possibly have on the clock to work with to go and capture B. Another completely on point opening break. I mean, every round of search and destroy, every round of control, and every hill, Miami's game plan is clear.
And they need this time, though. They've done a great job to get it through so far, but this is now going to be a mountain. OpTic are set up into the point, and they will slay out for as long as they can.
Maybe good news from OpTic at this moment as well. I think when they were on defense the first go around, they were still vaguely worried about A. That's just not an option anymore. They're going to put all the pressure in the world on this side of the map. Now they just got to win the gunfights. Journey getting caught on the cross as well. Lucky looking for the trades, but he gets traded himself. And OpTic right now on defense doing just enough. But obviously Miami, they are keeping up the pressure. If they ever get this like extra kill instead of the spawn trap, that's where things could get dicey. And this is close to being that moment.
Shotzzy has hit a flank. It's going to have to be an incredible flank, but doesn't need it. Metal's still going to be alive. Goes for the chow on the Dashy. Not going to happen. There's a wipe, and Shotzzy's now far ahead, but Journey has called this one as well. But Miami will have to fight their way back in. All that work, all those trades and blood spilled to get into that point. They have to do it again.
Yeah, both of these teams keeping that pressure up, but obviously from OpTic, they wanted to push up and getting different corners. That's not going to be the case. It's a little bit more scattered, and Pred, the timing is not going his way because Heretics, the pace is just too fast. Shotzzy's flanking again, but for Heretics, they got 3 bodies in and around this zone, and you got players like Dashy spinning in circles. This is a tough spot for Texas.
Shotzzy burns so much time, but Metals has found him. Back into the point now for them, but he's going to be outnumbered. OpTic have the bodies here to break this. Metals just wants that first tick, stunned already. Teammate watching over, but has he got enough here for him? Pred flies into the point as Metals flies out, and they now know he's in there.
Oh, no one saw him lay down, though. They thought he was in the back corner, so Pred gets away with one there, but at least for Miami, they trade him out, and you still have 2 players around the zone, but they're going to need to kill a bunch because Dashy was pinning the other 2 players from Heretics back. So it's a slow zone capture, but also keep in mind for Miami, it's not just the zone. It is 10-7 on lives. They can win this 1 of 2 ways.
The trades have to be good here for OpTic. They absolutely have to be. Time ticking away. Miami need to get back into the point. Journey has to dive in and give up the position he had. Dashy just see his eyebrows. It's not going to be enough. He flies out of the point, gets the kill, but no good. Miami spawning out. OpTic do just enough.
And OpTic has to play this like a round of S&D. No one can afford to fall. The gunfights are going to come to you. Metal's the first one in. Kenny the first one to fall. Next man in line. Going to be players down low. Metals is just out here frying you, but still 6 seconds. You got to at least stop the clock. A couple trades going back and forth, and Metals closes the door. Heretics again fighting tooth and nail to get that offensive win, but they are successful, up 2-1, and now a round away from 3-0ing OpTic Texas.
My goodness, break out the capes. There are heroes on both sides of this equation. Just godlike plays over and over again from both teams just to get into a point. It is outrageous how the odds are stacked against people and they still get away with it. The Miami Heretics now in the lead into this one. If they can hold a defense, they will do the impossible. Something nobody thought they could accomplish.
I think right now it's just like their pace that has been out of control, on top of the fact that the opening breaks have been on point this time. No, OpTic's maybe just a little bit better. Shotzzy flies in and gets those first 2 entry kills, but that capture on A, I don't see any trophies nearby, and the trophy wouldn't have had time to work. Metals is soaring at you. OpTic just don't have time in this series to breathe and like group together. They've been scattered, but with 2 kills right there and that B floodgate wide open, maybe OpTic this pressure on B going to pay off long term. The first tick nearly through.
And this is what will tell. Was this a misstep for Miami? Did they commit too much towards A? Already the body's in there. That second tick for OpTic. He's right on the horizon, but Metals to the rescue again! Oh my goodness! 23 and 13. He's putting his body on the line for this. Every time they need him, Miami Heretics have a medals.
I mean, look, sometimes he's soaring in and picking up 2 by himself. Sometimes he is the wrecking ball in the cleanup crew. Great tags on a couple players out of vehicle. Metals gets sent in for the kill, and he absolutely wipes you down. Number 24 on a 4 spree, 8 of which are objective kills. Metals ever present on the map, and again from OpTic, they are like they're feeling the pressure. Literally no time to breathe. Miami are soaring. Maybe a 2-piece can open up just a little bit of pressure on the map. It's a 2-stack coming through. A tick and a half of progress near there, and OpTic right now all about the objective.
There is still hope. 1 tick. That's all OpTic need. It hasn't been a strong round for them, but they only need to do it 1 more time in 1:35. Miami Heretics have to hold them at bay for the rest of this.
Shotzzy right now sort of wants that freedom, make this into his playground, and the question is, can Heretics be on point of keeping track of him? Right now, he's just in between everybody, playing with his food, but that's only for the first kill. He just ends up getting traded. His teammates get a couple more, so it's a 3v2 for a brief moment around the B zone, but it's not like it's easy. Very much in the mix right now is OpTic, and it is all about the timing, and that is not going Kenny's way. Dumpster hop up a little bit too close. And with a minute left on the clock and only 11 lives to work with, OpTic, again, staring down the barrel of a hot 3-0.
Kenny commits. They need this. 50 seconds for OpTic. Just information gathered. Metal's still alive, still gunning, still running. OpTic having to go. Dashy flies out the door. Down he falls to Lucky. Shotzzy. They needed to be a hero 1 more time. Slips through the gap. Finds the first. Looks for the second, and it's not going to be enough equal for the rest of OpTic now. Turning on the burners. They have to get in.
It's Kenny again with an AR just in the mix next to everybody. Cleanup kills coming through from Miami, and no more respawns remaining. 4 lives in a dream. Miami are going to get this done.
Here we go. 1 last chance, 1 last run. Kenny will find the first. Lucky will get the trade back onto it. OpTic just have to get a body into this point. Jenny will get it 2 versus 2. Vehicle now looking, but Lucky will fall. The last player from OpTic goes down, and it's a vamos. Miami Heretics take down the unassailable. OpTic Texas fall. And what a tale we have woven heading towards Boston.
And a fun celebration for Miami, too. A potential meme there from Vehicle with a 3-0 eyeglass. And a hell of amount of damage across the board for Miami. I mean, they literally just put on the pressure so hard from OpTic. I don't know if OpTic, like, they just straight up could not handle it at all. I mean, if you're looking at a player like Pred especially, like he has that superstar potential, he just got completely nullified. There was never a moment where he gets to do his thing, get behind enemy lines, be annoying, play for these cutoff kills. He was just made irrelevant on the map. Down there on damage, and I mean, Heretics keeping up that sort of pace. that consistently over the course of every single map. Some of the best Call of Duty I'm sure some of these guys have played. Their teamwork was on another level.
I think I will really reiterate the 2 points you've just made. Pressure all the way through. Miami Heretics put OpTic under pressure, non-stop, unrelenting, can't breathe, sweat dripping down the spine, pressure. And the difference between these two teams was teamwork. Heretics at that speed, at that pace, and at that pressure were always getting trades and baiting and switching. And it looked like two different calibers on that map. That was ridiculous, Call of Duty.
I mean, you know, and you talk about the pressure as well. This is where, like, I mean, you want to say like veteran leadership and whatnot, like your communication comes into a factor. Like, think about those moments where like vehicles hopping the bomb on invasion for like the, you know, not a ninja defuse, but the sneak defuse. Everyone has to be cool and calm and composed, and Heretics able to deliver. I think OpTic on the flip side, when the pressure started to get elevated, they just couldn't deliver. You had a first round of that control. Kenny started off 9-0 and they lost it. Things like that, potentially a pain point from OpTic, but on the flip side for Heretics, Vamos out and bound. Power of friendship goes a long way.
It certainly does. All right, well, we've discussed this one and we've watched this one, so let's throw it over to the desk to see what they think.
Vamos! I'm with the chat on this one. The Mutineers curse lives on, apparently. Heretics rebranded, but Florida's still getting wins over OpTic somehow, and we were all wrong on the desk. The fans were all wrong in their predictions. The chat was losing their mind. You held OpTic to half your points at Hardpoint, 6-2 in Search and Destroy, and then you bopped them on that Game 3. What went down here if you're a Miami fan?
Man, I mean, we knew Miami, like, had the capabilities, right? Again, a bunch of talented players, and all of us were kind of ringing the bell of, hey, they had a really easy first couple of matches, though, against some of the bottom teams. They go against Surge, they struggle, lose a couple of Search and Destroys, and in this series, man, they just looked flawless. They were out-rotating OpTic the entirety of that invasion. As soon as it got to that second half of rotations, we all saw the graph. Miami Heretics were in complete control from then on out. And then you move into that invasion, Search and Destroy, same thing. I talked about some of these maps and that they would prefer, and invasion was one of them.
Can we just talk about this play, though, Nameless? Because Metals was the guy. End of round 3, start of round 4. The man was on fire.
Yeah, I mean, you heard Bryce and Chance sort of touch on a little bit the amount of pressure that you're seeing from the Miami Heretics. Like, OpTic just had no time to sort of like schedule a setup. Like, we saw it throughout this entire map, especially on Heretics' offensive pushes, like immediately going over towards B in the beginning of that round, sort of making it mixy, and then taking a ton of lives away from OpTic Texas, putting the pressure on them. And then in the Search and Destroy, the pressure there as well. Like, OpTic won 6-2 in the first blood battle, but what would happen? Instant trade out of Heretics, and then the next play was not being made by OpTic. The adjustments in game, in the control, in the Search and Destroy just were not there. Heretics are unbelievable, man. Everybody better start putting some respect on their name.
I'm one of those people. I take note, friends. I will not root against you again. We got to talk to one of our champions, though, in our Monster Winner Spotlight. Vikal joins us live. And Big Vic, everyone went OpTic. All the fans were voting that. We did it on the analyst desk, and you guys handed them 3 straight losses. What was going down in the Miami camp today?
I mean, I think we won 1 map of a scrim yesterday in 2 scrims. So we just woke up. We went out for dinner yesterday. We were like, listen, we gotta forget the couple weeks of scrims we had. We just have to lock it in tomorrow. We just have to play basic COD, just be together, bro. Like, and that's what we came to do. We played, I think we looked like the SWAT team, you know what I'm saying? So.
Wait, so you guys were struggling before today? Have you flicked this switch before? I've never seen something like this.
I mean, we played Toronto and New York yesterday in scrims. I think we won 1 map only, so yeah. I mean, we just had a massive combo yesterday. We locked it in, and we managed to play good as a team, which we were lacking in scrims. So thank God.
Vikal, congratulations on the win. And it's funny that you brought up scrims, because I was actually going to ask you, like, was this an expected outcome for you guys? Now I obviously know it was not. Do you think maybe you guys will take this now that you need to just like relax when it comes to these series and not get in your head about it and just play the game as a team?
Exactly. I think we kind of came with we went to Christmas break with 3-0, really confident, and I think we forgot the basics that we had previous to the break, and we were just all playing really individualistic. So we kind of just are trying to lock it in, play more as a team, and I mean, of course, like no winning maps against like teams like Toronto or New York is obviously not that big of a deal. So we just kind of forgot it and we locked it in for today, and we came out firing.
Javi, you know, this year you've been on a great Respawn team throughout this entire year. Yeah, last year that wasn't the type of team that you had, and now you've, you know, some round 11s, a couple clutches you've been giving up in S&D. Today that was not the case, and it seemed like you had a couple rounds where you were just taking over. Where did those improvements come from? How did you guys fix sort of those man advantage situations you were giving up last week?
I mean, I think last week is kind of just a fluke in our gameplay, in our matches. Like I said, it was just a product of our practice. So, I mean, this week we just try to focus on more team play, more playing as a unit, and less about individual plays. And I think today was the proof that we can actually play good as a team. And obviously, it's easy to win when none of us get shit on, you know what I'm saying, when the 4 of us are playing well. So,
absolutely.
Props to us.
When you're clean.
To tomorrow.
Absolutely. Javi, best of luck. Your final match is against LAG. We'll see you in the middle of that day.
See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
That's Vehicle and Miami Heretics now done for the day. They are at 4-1. That passes OpTic. OpTic is no longer in the top 4 as of right now. And you have to remember their last matchup will be against Atlanta. So.
Do they overtake OpTic?
They overtake OpTic, yeah. OpTic's 4-1, now 4-2.
Miami is in, OpTic is out, but we still have a battle between 2 teams in the top 4. When we come back, it's a showdown from last year's World Championship. The Subliners taking on Toronto Ultra. Scrap, time for revenge.
Red dot, and he's gonna chase it. Hungry for the streak. Checks it. Go! Gets it! Come on, son. You cannot ask for more than that. The 3rd kill for Fame as well. Give me the AC screams in the player cam.
I can't do anything.
These 2 hills right here, these 2 hills,
Oh, shit.
Oh, there's one hallway,
No way, this guy.
Damn.
All just on the outside. But Nate Dogg's team was in 6th. Going big here, finding one. Tapa gonna try to take down Watch Waldo, but falls. The trade from Nate Dogg, it comes through. 10 eliminations. Look who's last alive. It's Huskers in a final 1v1. They eliminated each other. Who wins the gunfight? Huskers pushing the fight. Zoning off with the grenades, finding it. Swings around the corner, no place, but chows it anyway. Nate Dogg gets the better of Huskers for the win. Nate Dogg with 11.
We have Abuzah. Now right back over to Illey. He takes his fight as well, trying to keep this 100% at 100. And looking good so far. 2v1 now. Dashy last up. Full health though. Chance to make a play. Next guy drops. Dashy 1v1 versus Illey. Former teammate. Ah! Just gunned to sleep.
I want to say one thing. This, unacceptable. Unacceptable. They did it on purpose. I know for a fact they did it on purpose. Because they could have used way better pictures. But whoever's goofy thinks they're funny, they think they're funny, and they're putting this like, that looks insane. Someone change it, or else I'm not showing up in my next match. And I'm going to torch the schedule.
Still concealed. Here comes the break attack. That stun doesn't maybe fully affect him. Oh! Still able to find reality. Whoa! From Nero. Purge helps out for his trade. And it's all Vegas thanks to Nero. High.
You know, we knew we were going to come in and handle business. You know, they're a pretty team. I don't know what all the hype is about around this match. I mean, look at the scores.
I did.
100% at 100. And looking good so far. 2v1 now. Dashy last up. Full health though. Chance to make a play. Next guy drops. Dashy 1v1 versus Illey. Former teammate. Ah! Just gunned to sleep.
What would you GA in real life?
I think I would GA Bills. Bills for sure. Definitely Bills. If you didn't have to pay those no more, life would be so much better.
Taxes.
Getting up early in the morning. I hate the morning. I hate getting up tired. It's the worst thing ever.
Mosquitoes. Do you know what I mean? I don't know why they're here. Waste of time. Bring nothing to anyone. No benefit. Just wipe them out and the world will be a better place.
The start of the year to the end, I actually don't know. If I had to guess, does it go like this? Does it go winter, spring, fall, and summer? Please tell me yes. Spring, summer, wait. Huh?
Or mid tank, sorry.
I'm trying to get this kill right, bro.
Mid tank.
Mid tank.
Two there.
I have the backside of it. I'm pitching him. I got one. That's one. I got two. Okay, we got
water bridge. Attach. I'm gonna play it towards mid counter, right?
Deep water bridge.
Playing from mid map, okay? I'm gonna go inside small, inside
I'm mid tank. I'm just mid tank. Play together. It's going on my fire tank. Just kind of weak. Going back to mid tank. Get my mid. Yep.
I have mid.
You're good. Just don't tell him. No. Don't get wall banged either, Adam. Run the mid tank.
I hear you. Oh, fuck him.
I'm good. You just.
In rugs.
Stay down. Nice! Let's go, guys!
Go, man.
Good,
bro.
Good.
My bad for the last round, bro.
Holy shit down!
We're here at Ghosty. Absolutely. So this is the Service Academy skirmish, and obviously with the tradition of Army-Navy next door happening at Gillette Stadium. We're so excited that we got to bring this Army-Navy buzz. So happy Coast Guard joined in, and hopefully to grow this. We work with Activision and Blizzard all the time, but this is our first time taking on a project like this with them. I mean, the organization that they have there for the veterans and the Call of Duty Endowment, it's a phenomenal program.
Activision Blizzard has a long-standing history of supporting veterans through our hiring processes and the Call of Duty Endowment. The Call of Duty Endowment is a non-profit organization that places veterans in high-quality jobs.
This week is the week. You know, Army versus Navy is one of the greatest rivalries in collegiate.
This is Call of Duty, Army, Navy, Coast Guard, and that's what it's about.
It's been one of the longest running rivalries, so, you know, things like this bring such a great culture, and now we're drawing esports right into it.
We are literally from all four corners of the United States, being able to come together and just work on communication, building a team, building something more than just an individual effort helps a lot. And the winner of the skirmish gets to play Boston Breach. I think we've been really talking about since we found out about the event, and we've been grinding pretty hard to play them. Getting recognized, being able to come out, drive out with probably my closest friends at the academy gave me, and play Call of Duty is a great experience for me.
I love when the good news coming in on a day-to-day. Already know what's happening, I don't gotta shake the hay. Big moves, big stepper in the right direction. The trip continues, every double use a psychedelic. I think they gon' need a minute. Look, I'm interested in making as opposed to making friends. Double bags, I've been paranoid having a safe so take a check. Finishing his drink should only take a sec, but Mark just cut me off. He told me that I go on stage and tan. Walk out to my own shit on the main event. Vinci my cologne after the show. She told me that shit was a favorite sin. Sprint a fan of spacious, we could take it friends. What happened next? You could take a guess.
Welcome in, everybody. At the end of MW2, we saw these two teams face off, and they did it for millions of dollars and the title of world champion. New York walked away with a 5-0 sweep, and Toronto, they had to sit there for months and think about their mistakes. Since then, they've added Envoy, a world champion in his own right, and today is going to be the showdown all the fans were really hoping for.
And honestly, I'm really happy that both of these teams kind of found their way back into being in the top 3 conversation, right? Because you never like it when you win a world championship and then fall off the next year. So this is going to be a battle for the title.
Let's start here with New York Nameless. Walk me through the roster. What has been most impressive about their run so far? They're currently coming in at 5-0.
Yeah, so for the New York Subliners, the most impressive has got to be their Search and Destroy. Obviously, a great Search and Destroy team last year, and you think it might change a little bit bringing in a guy like Simp. It did not. 7-0 in that game mode, unscathed, a bunch of round 11 wins as well. This team is so resilient, and in the final moments of games, they always seemingly make the right play. And also the hardpoint, it's been solid throughout as well. This is a championship contending squad, and you can see it there in the Monster Energy pregame. The one thing that does need work is control. Now, they're 2-3 on it overall. They do have Karachi in the map set today, so it should be okay with them. Mainly, Chris, it's been the defense on Invasion. They've lost 3 of their defending rounds on the map, which is one of the most lockdown defenses that you have. So that's the one place they can improve.
We'll see if Invasion is in the mix today for the Subliners. On the other side of this matchup, you're facing off against Toronto Ultra, a team that was red hot up until that grand final, and since then has looked really incredible online. Now, one matchup, though, was a bit of a lackluster performance. They got swept by Boston Breach 0-3. That's the big blemish on their record. Are you concerned about this Toronto team coming into the matchup against Subliners today?
I can't say I'm really concerned overall. I think they do have some weaknesses where New York will have strong points. So when we look at the Monster pregame, where Ant touched on the fact that New York has been disgusting at Search and Destroy. On the flip side, Toronto's been disgusting at hardpoint and control. Their biggest weak point has been in that Search and Destroy. So it's kind of all about how they're going to counter those map 2 and 5s, and if they can just close it out in 4.
All right, let's take a look at your maps and modes. Nameless, are we playing Invasion Control Game 3?
Nope, we're playing Karachi. And on this map, both these teams have been pretty damn good, so it's going to be a good one. Early on in the series, New York definitely have the advantage on the first 2 Karachis, undefeated 5-0 on those 2 maps combined. And then when we get to maps 3 and 4, that is the advantage towards Toronto, which all says, Chris, a game 5.
All right, we're not going to have graphics here, but I'm going Subliners. Where are you going?
This one's really tough. I'm thinking game 5 Subliners.
Subliners?
I'm going Toronto.
Going Toronto. Chance to catch up for Nameless.
I had to switch it.
We got our casters on the mic. It's Study and Shift. Gentlemen, take it away.
Nameless with the buzzer beater, just fitting it in just before we get going. Jay, we got a grand finals rematch, new title, but hey, the stakes almost feel just as high as they did a couple months back.
This is a battle of the Titans, Alan. I cannot wait to get into this matchup. When I looked at the stats, I said everything is padded. Everyone is going off for both of these rosters. So it's just a battle of the Titans, and this is going to be the true test where we put both of these rosters. We only had Toronto Ultra. They have 1 loss on the season, and that was versus Boston Breach. Every other match for them has been a 3-0 or a 3-1. Clean work. On the opposite side for New York, they had a couple game 5s, but they got that ice in them. That 7-0 in the Search and Destroy. So I think we looked at it in the beginning. It's really going to come down to the respawns, and that's crazy to say when you have 2 of these kind of teams in this matchup.
Yeah, it's really interesting because I think in particular, it's the hard points, right?
Yeah.
I mean, both teams are very evenly matched up when it comes to what's on paper. The Search and Destroy will be a really revealing portion to see if Toronto has improved, but we'll get to that eventually. Let's dig on in. We've got New York, Toronto, Battle of the Titans here on Karachi for map number 1, 2, and 3. Hydra, Skyz first 2 shots will land. That leads to New York getting onto the hard point here.
Oh, and they find the first 2 kills, and then Kismet goes on a long route, enjoys the scenery through the junkyard, and they find all 4 kills and eventually find the break onto P1. That's a perfect start. I'm definitely stealing that route when I play ranked play later on today. Because New York are coming out swinging. They're also control of Cafe as well. There's only 1 player on that side of the map, though. It's going to be Hydra. So now, since he's the only man on that side, you got to stay alive. At least get those close spawns for your teammates. He does just that. Now we can reinforce.
Here we go, a little 2v2 over towards the new hardpoint time. CleanX tilts the advantage over towards Toronto, then follows up by taking down Hydra. So clean on rotation here for the Ultra. New York taking all the scrap time they possibly can, builds a cushion of right around 30 points. And yep, with a couple of fadeaway kills here on the exit, Toronto looked very comfortable here at Diamond.
Yeah, what makes New York so good at this map more specifically is their rotations. They're the #1 team at winning rotations on this map, and right there you can already see it. Toronto Ultra causing them problems. We in the rotation over towards Cafe, where the team starting off with the initial time. Kleenex is already slaying out. He gets shut down off of that cruise missile, but still holding down this Cafe until the nade comes in from Skyz. So the break is sort of going to be here for New York, but there's only Kismet here. We got to still get these kills.
Forces the team kill, but nothing further. Leaves the hardpoint neutral for now. 50-50 battle as both teams start to stretch in towards the last 20 seconds here at P2. 2v2 for the final moments. Back and forth. Pinstripe kill feed. Skyz at long range. Oh! Dealt with by the rival 9 of Envoy, and that'll be enough for Toronto to lock down the scrap and still focus rotation.
Yeah, that's good stuff right there from Envoy to win that one-on-one. Final 20 is going to go his way, but now it's on his teammates to win a couple gunfights off the other side of the map, and they at least take down Kismet, the Bulldog, who was trying to flip it for New York. So another rotation going in favor of the Ultra. The best respawn team we have in the game, in the league, and they're showing it early on.
Insight pretty much on an island right now by himself inside the hard point. A lot of Toronto focus on holding onto that junkyard spawn. Kleenex at long range, able to assist, taking down Kismet, who was supposed to be the first entrant for Subliners. Insight still helping out in this rotation, knowing exactly it's all coming through market side, but New York just do not have an entry anywhere. You've got Simp waiting to hit a bit of a pinch. That kill kind of alerts Toronto to his efforts, but Toronto, no problems locking things down. First 3 kills go their way. Final one also tallied.
Yeah, that's just way too easy. You saw everyone from the Subliners who were over at the chicken side. They were waiting for Simp to open up a play. He found one, but then when he finds that kill, that player spawns right behind him in towards Ticket. So they were able to reinforce, find that kill, and then put their only focus over towards the chicken side. And were able to get a full 60 on that hill. And now they're in the next hill. This is another rotation that Toronto Ultra are going to be able to win just simply off the gunny. Envoy even throws in a stun. They find all the kills. Toronto Ultra not making any mistakes to start this HP.
Haven't seen an elimination for New York in what feels like about a minute right now. New York try to hit through the backside at Shops. Zib opens up space through mid. New York could try to hit this from both sides at the same time, but no one's getting through Scrap. 3 kills for him. Also just hands to get it out of the hard point. 4th right here, Nord Skyz. Not picked up on here, and actually New York will get a break off of that. Simp, Skyz, Hydra all finding individual kills, and there's the 4-man feed. New York secured the break with 35 on the clock.
That's a much-needed break for the Subliners. Now they control the spawns. They know that all of Toronto Ultra are not going to be near this next hard point, but if we can walk away with this final 30 and win the rotation, we're going to be right back into this game. But a couple kills scatter back and forth between both rosters. Insight and Skyz, they trade. Kismet now through the front door, trying to at least keep them off for this time. You don't want to let them grow that lead even more, but it's going to be Subliners off the rotation with only 10 seconds left. Hydra still contesting. For how long? He's going to set up Kismet. He drops. Toronto walk away with the final 5, but it should allow Subliners to be fully set up for the next.
Kismet does spawn all the way out though, so there will be one member for New York way outside of being able to help out in this rotation. Maybe a chance to pinch things up though as Toronto try to hit this from multiple points of ingress. A couple of trades do allow an opportunity to work their way in. Envoy goes unchecked. Skyz taken down from inside the hard point, and then Toronto follow up with kills all around the zone. Really clean break here for Ultra. Last one to deal with would be Hydra, and he gets turned around at bus.
Oh man, this is just too easy right now for Ultra. They find the kills at the right time. They know that they were in a 3v4 off that rotation because Kismet spawns out. Then they win all the gunfights, and now New York are forced to break in again. This game is starting to get out of hand. Hydra pops that dead silence. He's going to try to make something happen, but they're currently down 80 points. Let's step aside and go to a listening with the New York.
Hold it. Nice, looking for one. Envoy, subway. Yeah, top fire. Be back. Might hit you.
Top fire, rush top fire, you didn't see me.
That's 1P3.
My play for you,
Yeah, Kleenex. Play for the
I can get pitched for a sec.
I got it. Yo, he's already top fire, guys. Top fire. Got me, going cat. Top fire, that's me. Another one.
G1 absolute.
Push me, guys.
G1 absolute.
G1 got me. G1 outside time, one shot. Outside time in mid-cut. 2 outside time. 1 B-cut, 2 B-cut.
I don't see him top, dude.
Don't fire. Play together. I'm gonna need on time.
One time, Kleenex. One time. Top fire, weak and top there. Top fire.
I'm watching you play. Let's not fire weak.
New York down bad right now, trying to fight things back, but Ultra just making it look like they did versus Thieves last week. Really clean stuff through and through, on rotation, on holds, even making life messy on the exits. Ultra looking like they're primed to keep things moving here as we swap over to see how Ultra are feeling in the comps.
Hydra me. He's on ult. Coming down. First come mill.
In diner.
I'm moving back down, alright?
Gonna be close. Don't hold as well. Try and go pot.
Yeah. One's unpushed.
Yeah, I'm getting over.
From windows, bust up there, that's him.
Yeah, across, there you go.
I'm absolute.
Yeah, I'll get time. I need it.
Could be out.
I don't see anything now. I'm just laying down to top window.
Cutting. Repeating.
P5 dead. Top window. Weak. Gone back. 2.
I back, and I have no front cross.
Like back side time.
Low red. Dead.
One Mario, sit.
Dead.
Nice. I'm looking for a pinch. I'm at P5, huge time.
P5, two here.
One out. One side.
Child in front.
There's 2 here still.
We're gonna have to play this.
Got one.
One was on red.
Yeah, left corner.
2 more, here.
I'm jumping them. Weak. Close left.
He's really...
Man, Ultra looking and sounding locked in. 2:05.82 with more time still remaining here on the second hard point. There's nothing going right here for New York, Jay.
Not a single thing going right now for the Subliners. Team nades are happening. The comms are a little bit more energized on the other side, but we know Toronto Ultra. Whenever we go into a listening with them, calm, cool, collected, feet kicked up, you could probably grab a pillow and a blanket, almost fall asleep because that's how locked in they are in. 209-92, going over towards P3. Envoy now going to be the only player right now in a position to make something happen. He wins the first gunfight. Now he's just waiting for his teammates to reinforce. He's, again, the cause to why New York are not getting a clean rotation. And that's going to be Ultra. Has a chance to close it out on this hill.
The finesse just so strong out of the SMGs for Toronto. Help is always there at the right time. And New York, once again, just all over the map individually, not able to get themselves together for these concentrated breaks, or let alone just the rotations to get themselves even set up in any form. So Toronto find their way in. Can still win here. So you have to go, and you have to go convincingly if you're New York. 230-92. That's correct. Don't adjust your monitors. An absolute beatdown as all 4 will drop. And Ultra have nothing but disregard for all of the pre-setup about these being 2 heavy hitters. Ultra all over map number 1.
That's literally GG. That's gonna be game. This is the best Karachi hardpoint I've seen in quite some time. And Ultra, he just made the Subliners look like they are on the bottom of the league. They have a margin of beating everyone in hardpoint by a maximum 82 points. They just did that even better on that map number 1. We were worried if Toronto Ultra were going to come out swinging. Okay, no, we put that all to rest. These guys are the real deal Holyfield, and they dominate to go up 1-0 in the series.
Jay, if I'm not wrong, that's the first 100-point club we've gotten this year.
Oh my God. And versus the Subliners who are 5-0?
I'm saying,
jeez.
Dude, unreal. What a display from Toronto. Everyone positive in the kill feed. Help all across the board. Look at the assist totals. 7 for Insight, 10 for Cleanox. The objective kills also pretty evenly split. Hard point time, except for Scrap, pretty evenly split. It's just everyone participating at the highest level. Cleanox will come away with the breadwinner, 22 and 16 with 4,100 damage. It's just, I have no reaction right now, but just emotional shock.
Me too. I'm right there with you. The only good thing that New York did in this whole map was that first P1. When Kismet hits that route, they get 34 seconds in the P1 hardpoint. Everything else was all Ultra. They rotated over towards Cafe, they find the break. They laid off the rotation, they find the kills, they find the break. They get over towards Fountain, they found all the kills. Envoy even finds those with the stun grenade. There was nothing that Toronto could do wrong in this map number 1. They stayed the best hardpoint team in the game. Now they're up 1-0, going into a search and destroy. And if you are the Subliners, you best believe. I know you're sitting at 7-0 in S&D, but if you playing like that, you're going to take an L here today.
Huge tone setter for Ultra. And it's like you mentioned, a third of their points came on the first hard point of the game.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just not able to get done in any form. It's just not at all what we expected. All of the Monster Energy pregame stats can pretty much be thrown away as Toronto take firm control early. But we stay on Karachi, like you mentioned. Search and Destroy and Control both can be played here. And I think if the only thing we can really say at this point is for New York, you just have to just shrug that one off, forget about it, come back out and hit us with your strengths right here, right now.
You gotta let that one go, man. You gotta completely forget that one. I know you were undefeated on Karachi. That was your bread and butter hard point, but obviously Toronto Ultra, they played it one time last week versus LAT. LAT only scored 120. They improved in that map. You can see the game flow chart on our screen.
Bro.
Look at the difference in the score. All I see is Toronto Ultra on the way up like they were ready to take a flight. Now they're up 1-0 in this series. They're going into a search and destroy on Karachi, where they do have a couple reps. They played it twice, and the same thing on the opposite side for the Subliners. But I think the biggest thing that you need to focus on for Toronto Ultra is that first blood battle, because New York, whenever they find first blood, they have a 100% conversion rate on winning the round. So with the way that they're shooting, you get that first kill, you're going to be able to throw New York off their medal.
And that might be, I think, maybe the key over the entirety of Ultra Search and Destroy. You know, it's been not particularly great for them, just 2-3 overall. Their losses, to be fair, are not terrible. Around 10 loss to LAG, around 11 loss to LAT. One kind of bad loss to Boston in that 3-0 sweep that kind of caught us all off guard. But outside of that, they've been really polished. A 6-0 win versus Seattle, who at the time we thought were going to be like Search and Destroy masterminds. They get like a DoorDash challenge on this map. Karachi Search and Destroy 6-0 from last week. So that has to be, I think, what we look to maybe more than the overall statistics of what we can maybe expect out of Toronto here in map number 2.
Oh yeah, I'm expecting their S&D to be a lot better. We're talking about one of the best teams in the game. You best believe it. They are awful right now in S&D. Every day that they're in practice, they're trying to get better at that mode because they see their hard point. They see their control. Those are basically untouchable right now. We can get our S&D tip-top form, at least to master hard point or the control. We're, without question, the best team in the game. So definitely looking at this young man, Scrap, who has some fire underneath him. Don't forget, they just got 5-0'd last year at the World Champs by this Subliners roster. They're trying to get their get back. And map number 1, tell us anything. So far, they're on a good track of doing it.
There's the revenge buff, but then there's also the birthday buff. I know it's been going around Twitter a little bit. Envoy birthday today. I don't know what tweet we possibly have for this, but I remember I saw Dad Envoy on Twitter he was getting a little wild with what tweets he was putting up on the timeline. No, this is just from Ultra. So yeah, Prince of the North birthday today, and there we go. This is the one that we were talking about. We love a little throwback picture.
Oh man, that guy was getting down. He was on the field. Envoy's probably one killer of a second baseman, man. His reaction time is insane. Let's go, Dale. You look good as a kid, man.
Strapping on the catcher's gear, man. That's the mastermind right there. You're the general behind the dish, tell you that much. So birthday buff very well could be in play, but we saw that one absolutely unbelievable gunfight from Envoy on rotation back over towards the cafe. So what can he provide us here in the Search and Destroy? Again, you talk about first blood, super crucial. And, you know, I think that overall we've kind of seen Toronto really rely on, you know, the SMGs trying to get up and set the tone early. So we'll see if that will continue to be the case and if Envoy can keep absolutely reaping here as we jump into map number 2.
Yeah, Envoy's definitely a factor. He's the guy that's going to go out there. The Dark Prince puts himself in a position with that SMG to go play for that first blood. And I think it's a lot more difficult on this aspect because both of these teams make a roster change. Obviously, it's a lot better for New York because they have Simp in a position so he's able to hold down a lane, not really be that aggressive player, and that's why they're 7-0 in Search and Destroy. A lot more difficult for Envoy with his kind of play style in S&D, so curious to see what he's able to do with that SMG in his hand, how aggressive he's going to be early on.
Full concentration over towards Kismet. Gets a nice read for the first blood. Traded out immediately. Simp trying to follow up, but Toronto deny. So early 3v2. Bomb makes its way over towards bus station. And a very quick commitment to try to get the plant down here as well.
Oh, now it's going to be an instant 3v2. Skyz working his way into his top red. He tries to find the placement to where he can see inside, but inside on the steps takes him down. Now it's Hydra left in the 1v3. I've seen this guy clutch a lot. He has one in front of him.
Gets the read, but can't quite find the kill. The question is, where has Scrap gone after he had posted up the plant? Hydra going top soda, now making his way over. Does he hit the check on the corner? Tough heavy. Oh my goodness! Blows Scrap out of the water. Now to the 1v1, and the question is, where has CleanX repositioned to? Smoke trying to force the hand of CleanX. Hydra making his call as it starts to dissipate. CleanX just on the other side of the bus. All about timing. There's a snap, but no! CleanX beats him to the punch. And the opening first duel goes the way of Toronto, and so also will go the round.
Yeah, that was almost a little bit scarier at the very end. CleanX, once that smoke grenade gets invested on the site, he jumps out from top red, but as he's jumping, he's able to spot Hydra and then reposition behind the archers to just play the clock, wait until he has no chance to hit that defuse. And Toronto Ultra walk away with the first round. They get the first blood as well. At least they trade officially in towards top red, but Hydra almost makes that happen.
Yeah, big time. It's one of those situations that, again, you start to feel like, oh, goodness. Right off the get-go, New York find themselves a little bit out of the round, but Hydra breathes a little bit more life into the lungs. Now over to the offense. Bit of a different hit than Bada focus over towards B. First nade lands from Skyz' hands. That may be enough for New York just to commit to saying, all right, we've got numbers. Let's try to get this bomb on B quick.
Oh, and look at the game plan already. Hydra was the sole man over towards this A point. He invests that smoke grenade. You get the repositioning from a couple players from Ultra. So now this B point is going to be wide open. Sets up Hydra to at least find one on the flank. But as he finds one, Scrap is there for the trade. And Inside finds another one. Scrap finds a third. But was just a 4v2 was now a 1v2. All left up to the Bulldog.
Kismet will get the plant. Insight forfeiting it. Backing away will be a 2v1. Post-plant positionings around this bomb site can be so difficult to deal with. So many angles you have to check, and Kismet, who has that silence, is going to try to re-wrap this back over through mid, but Insight catches him mid, climb on the ladder. Oh, no, not like that. And then the smiles for Insight saying, brother, where are you going? 2-0 lead early for Ultra.
Yeah, that was just an easy read right there from Insight. He said, no. I know Kismet likes to go for these routes. You're not going to catch me off guard this time. Finds the kill easily, but that's a 2v4 right there from Ultra. It started off with the first blood nade coming in from Skyz. Great. You get Hydra to invest in smoke grenade, force a couple repositionings to come in from the Ultra side. He also takes down one. There's 2 players on that side of the map. The fact that Insight gets 1 player and it wasn't even the bomb carrier is mind-blowing to me. You gotta let that bomb go down, force them to retake in that 2v4 or even a 2v3 scenario. Just don't make it easy and chow those one-on-one gunfights. Ultra make them pay. Now they're up 2-0.
And I think if you're an Ultra fan, just on top of that, little fadeaway kill cam from Scrap is going to, light some fires of passion, because he has not been his stereotypical self in Search. Just a .66 KD to this point, but kills like that definitely will help breed some extra confidence, as CleanX has already gotten way behind the New York defense. No one has any idea he's in this position. Just comes down to, can CleanX actually find any kills?
Yeah, CleanX is just trying to roam around. He's like, where are these guys set up? No one towards top AC. Can't spot anyone, but I'll spy Simp outside of the window, camping on a ledge for the first blood. Toronto Ultra get the bomb down. New York now in the 3v4 retake.
And New York just have so many worries about that position all of a sudden. You just can't commit to getting in towards Diner. You even got Scrap watching the long flank. Eventually, he does get traded, but there's just so much work that New York has to do with not a lot of time and not a lot of numbers. Falls to Skyz, and they're just getting blindsided. What is happening today? This is unbelievable.
The way that Toronto Ultra are playing right now, Alan, they are just trying to do the same exact thing that all the other 2 teams that won a series today, and that's potentially complete a 3-0. They are playing with the utmost confidence. The fact that CleanX just runs straight down the middle of the map, goes right through Soda Alley, finds himself top ladder, no contestation at all. They cannot make any wrong so far on the map. Ultra 3 up in the round. Subliners need to be able to stop the bleeding, man. They need to figure something out. Someone has to give them a spark.
Big time. I don't even know who you point to at the moment, but this feels very similar to when we watched Ultra play the Thieves last week, where it was just all Ultra all the time, super quick, no chance to respond. Envoy can make a play towards scaffolding. Really good look over towards Coop. Long range shots won't fully land. So an opening trade comes through, even early 3v3.
Early 3v3, big shots from Hydra to find that trade. Kismet trying to at least keep Insight in his line of sights. Goes bottom fountain, but you see all the rest of Toronto Ultra. They have rotated back. Hydra finds the timing. He's able to find a second and take top bridge control. Once again, Scrap and Insight left the clutch.
They don't know that Scrap is actually positioned over the top. He certainly makes his presence known now. Insight follows up on the damage to find the kill. Hydra doesn't see Insight in the corner initially, now able to track him down. So it rests with Scrap. 1v2, tough gunfight here versus Skyz. Decent damage, but no reason for Skyz to overpeak this. Hydra also throws a couple extra shots. And so Scrap will be able to reset the fight. Problem is, the clock is going to be maybe his biggest adversary here. Only 18 seconds to go. Wants to deal with Skyz first and foremost. Sees him popping up and down, but yeah, the repositions are too strong at this point. Not a lot of time to work with, and this is just taking way too much time, as Skyz will give him a nice little beat down and get New York on the board.
Yeah, finally, Subliners get one on the board on the back of Hydra. He finds the trade onto Envoy and then wins that huge one-on-one gunfight to take top bridge control. Once you have that positioning, the bomb gets planted. Even though Insight finds the trade, Hydra eventually finds the 3rd on the round to secure the attack for the Subliners. You get those trades, you solo out a couple players, you also have Envoy playing a little bit too aggressive. I love the positioning that he had, but once Scrap finds that first blood, let's just take our chill pill. Let's just relax, play the 4v3.
Yeah, that almost felt like the page out of the playbook is, we're just better than you.
Yeah, exactly.
We're just gonna hold down the joysticks and go quick. Stuns nades right through B alley. Hydra actually avoids the majority of it, only gets hit by a late stun. So he will essentially do the exact same thing that Envoy did last round, playing up on top of the scaffold. A good chance to try to contest the high ground if there is a play over through market.
Yeah, does anyone to contest this spot though? They check this as looks like the smoke is now going to get invested. We're instantly pushing out. We're not going to commit towards the bomb plant. We're going to take top bridge control. Now Scrap opens up with the first blood, but already Subliners have everything that they need to watch. They have them in the vice grip. Everyone all over the map.
Hydra a bit stuck here though. Yeah, just nowhere to go. Wasn't sure if there was a player still floating around through backside tools. Skyz to provide a trade, so numbers will go to a 2v2. Bomb making its way over towards B, but Kismet should have an angle at this if he decides to check, and that will be enough for Ultra to say, we don't feel good about this position, let's back up a little bit, and they may actually try to re-clear the top third position that Kismet's in.
Oh, and they read it. They read it. Envoy with the repositioning right there makes it a 1v2. It's a little bit scary in a 2v2 scenario to put this bomb down towards B, but not a 2v1. Puts up a little bit more of an advantage, but Sky's going to put down shots. He takes down Envoy, but cannot get away. What is life? The trade is going to be there. Would look like to be a great New York setup when they have multiple players going on the pinch. Just get picked apart on the round for Toronto Ultra to shut it down. Now up 4-1 in the S&D.
Yeah, Hydra only getting one on that little cheeky push through may have been the big difference maker, because Ultra get first blood. Hydra may have been able to have a chance to line up a couple, but only getting the single kill was just simply not enough for the play. And a huge cushion now on the scoreboard. Ultra, this, I'm telling you, it feels just like when they played Thieves. It is a speed run through this map. Sib at 0-5, Kismet at 1-5. That is not often what you see when you watch New York search and destroy.
Definitely is not. They've been able to clutch up in all their S&D so far this season. Now probably facing the biggest deficit that they have had yet. Sib 5 the first blood. The trade is instantly going to be there. Scrap lines up Hydra. It's already a 3v2 in favor of Toronto.
Just no map to work with anywhere for New York. You've got Skyz top third, but all he could really do is kind of watch over Kismet. And in uncertain numbers and situations, you just don't want to just leave your life over the top of the middle of the map. So there will be a reposition. Skyz trying to make a play a little bit deeper through this B alley. Kismet, Scrap, going at it at long range. Both players will keep their lives, but information gained here for Toronto on this. Try to, I would say, regain the B site and complete.
Yeah, they're in no rush, though. There's only 35 seconds left. They cannot wrap back. They know at least one player is to top bridge, but Kleenex actually gives up his life for free. Makes it a 2v2. Sky's position now known. But the time is starting to tick. Insight might be the player to make something happen, because all you have to do is shoot this guy off bomb, but Skyz takes down Scrap 1v2.
Insight going to play from behind on the offensive side. Does he get the check over towards the bomb? He's worried about the bridge. He's got Kismet, and the bomb doesn't get planted. Uh-oh. Skyz now all of a sudden has to go to the 1v1. Insight stayed right behind Coop. First shots are in. First shots are good. Goodness gracious. Toronto Ultra. Another beatdown at the behest of this search and destroy. Oh my goodness.
Insight can't do no wrong, man. It's a 1v2 with only 20 seconds left on the clock. Eventually, one player on the subliners have to put their gun down to commit towards the bomb plant. Thankfully, Insight checks the bomb at the right time before it gets down. And then with only 10 seconds left, Skyz, he needs to commit. Are we going to put this bomb down, potentially get bad timing, or are we going to go for the gunfight? Insight was ready for the push as Ultra clutch up another round. Put them at game point. We were wondering if their S&D was going to be any better. I promise you, this is it, Alan. Yeah, it's a lot better this time around.
Yeah, I'll say. What an unreal start to this series. Toronto looking to close this one out cleanly, if at all possible. I don't know about you, Jay, but my feet is completely frozen. Okay.
Mine is too. But I hear
things going on. As I hear things going on, but I don't see anything.
Okay, wow. Well, I'm looking at the thing that we cast off. I'm pretty sure it's a 3v3 scenario right now. Bomb just got planted for Ultra, and Ultra just walk away with the round.
Okay.
Ultra just closed it out 6-1. We did not get a chance to see any of that, but it was utter dominance from start to finish. They most likely got a first blood. They got the bomb down for free and just traded efficiently to absolutely dominate this search and destroy. Toronto Ultra 2-0 in the series.
Holy smokes. Yeah. Apologies there, friends. We completely lost our connection, it looked like. But hey, result is the result, and this is quite literally the definition of the Uno reverse card to what happened at Grand Finals last year.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, a speed run through, a sweep, and now Toronto trying to do the exact same thing. 2-0 up with the Karachi control still on the way.
And, like, there's just nothing they're doing wrong. And the map number 1 was an absolute beatdown. They follow it into the search and destroy. 6-1 victory. Insight drops 11-3. 8 non-traded kills. Multiple clutch rounds. New York let a 2v4 get away from them when they threw every single strategy that they had. First blood from Skyz with the nade. Hydra invested smoke all the way at the opposite site, and they still couldn't win the round. Ultra, they just came to play today, and subliners are not matching their energy. Oh, they are just taking over. They want to be the favorites going into Major 1.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, no one would have expected this.
No, not at all.
I mean, 100-point club in the first map, and then a 6-1 search and destroy against a team who had not lost a search to this point. Unreal scenes. And now we go to a Karachi control. Toronto has been, like we saw in the setup before this match started, the best respawn team in the league to this point. And going to a Karachi that doesn't really necessarily favor one side or the other, based on how this series has gone, Jay, you have to think that Toronto's looking to 3-0 this one real quick.
Oh yeah, what did Vigo do last series? This right here, the OpTic? Yeah, I think that's what Envoy and the boys over there in Toronto are thinking as well.
Unreal stuff. So we'll send things to a break. We'll hopefully see some signs of life after this next 5 minutes out in New York, but right now it is all Toronto. The birthday buff, if you want to call it, maybe just the sheer fact that the name of the game in this series is flat out revenge. We'll see what happens and see if this series can get extended as we stay on Karachi and head over to Control in the backside of the break.
The Painted Alebrije bundle is available now in the Call of Duty store. Inspired by the folk art of Oaxaca, this stunning bundle offers colorful, vibrant, and mythical items you gotta check out.
The Call of Duty Week is brought to you by Monster Energy, the official energy drink of the CDL. Don't miss out on all the action at the first Call of Duty League Major, hosted by the Boston Breach, this January 25th to the 28th at the MGM Music Hall at Fenway in Boston. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to callofdutyleague.com for more info.
Well, if you're wondering what the heck's going on, we don't have many answers for you outside of the fact that Toronto is slamming New York at the moment. 100-point club in map 1, 6-1 search. Jay, I don't have words. Do you have words?
No, bro. It's like they're going one-on-one with the Undertaker in this matchup. Just getting choke slammed after choke slam so far in this series. But it's not done yet, Alan. It takes 3 to walk away with a Series W. So Subliners still got some life, but it's not going to be easy when you're playing against Toronto Ultra, who are right now the best control team in the game. They're going into their best mode. It's a tall task ahead for the Subliners to try to complete the reverse sweep.
So let's breed a little bit of confidence here. So for New York, at least a little bit of good news is that offensively on Karachi, they've been really, really good. In fact, they've been technically perfect on it. So there is, some sign of hope here, even though Toronto, like we keep talking about, has been the best respawn team of the game. New York are no slouches, not just in control, but in particular when it comes to Karachi control. So I'm really looking to see if this New York team can find a way to replicate what they found tons of success with when they were playing up against Legion a couple of weeks ago, to try to get it to that 4th map. Because if we do, we get to a sub-base that New York is pretty well rehearsed on. They're just as good as Toronto on the map. And then, of course, their Search and Destroy still holds a little bit of favor for potentially a map 5. So, we're trying to find both sides of the coin. But overall, you look at the records, there is a little bit more leaning favor towards Toronto.
Yeah, Toronto Ultra, I don't know what it is about this organization. Every single year, they come in ready to go when it comes to this game mode. 4-1 record, 60 round win percentage, 4-5 in their attacks, a lot stronger in their defense. A lot of these maps that we have in control this season, a lot stronger on the defensive side. Karachi being the only one that I feel like attacks are a lot more impactful and a lot more reachable at going out there and getting them done. So if you are Toronto Ultra, we did say Subliners are flawless on their attacks at 2-0, but Ultra are 4-0 on their attacks on Karachi. So this is going to be another square up. I think if you are the Subliners and you want to have some life to try to bring this series back, you have to win this map, but you have to win it in a dominant fashion so you have that confidence going forward, especially into that map number 4, because if we get there, Toronto Ultra, they're beating teams by an average 100 points on that map, and we saw it on full display in map number 1.
Yeah, it's not good news. I mean, anytime you square up against Toronto on any hard point, but especially with that much of a differential in the points category, okay. Yeah, definitely a different breed of animal when you're squaring up on sub base. So, yeah, I think the biggest thing here, do you just kind of put a lot of attention into which team can be more defensively successful, considering that both teams have showcased that they are primed and ready to go on the offensive side here for Karachi?
Without question. I feel like the team who walks away with the defensive round, at least 1 to 2 defensive rounds, if you walk away with 2, you basically win the match. Because one of these teams are going to walk away with an attack, but that defensive side is going to tell us everything. How they decide to set up around these setups, how their breakoffs start, because we saw even in the last series, Heretics are going straight to B, and a lot of teams are playing for that instant stop over towards A. So if the mind games come into play, and you are able to catch them off guard with a couple game decisions right off the rip of the game, that could be the turning point. So, because both of these teams are ready to square up on a map like Karachi.
Yeah, absolutely the case. I think just looking at the overall statistics as well, as far as if you wanted to throw a spotlight on one player or another, for this Toronto team, it hasn't just been the fact that you've had great participation on your ARs, but Scrap has been undominable in a lot of long-range fights, and in particular, Envoy has been unreal for this Toronto team into control. And I think that's kind of maybe the biggest point when you look at the Toronto team from last year to this year. When you look at a player like Envoy versus a player like Hixie, when you're getting a 1.2 out of your entry SMG, come on. What else can you possibly say about it? That is an astronomical number.
Yeah, that's the reason why they make the roster change. It's not like they didn't get second at the World Championships. Like Hixie was a great player for this team. They just basically pack a punch Hixie to get a better objective player who drops better numbers in certain situations. And that's still an Envoy, a world champion in his own right. That guy knows exactly what it's like to win at the highest level. So you implement him on this team who already has structure with the core 3 and Insight, Scrap, and Kleenex. Oh, you best believe these are one of the top dogs all season long.
Yeah, and Envoy, I think, has really put himself into the picture when it comes to his ability on both sides, offensively and defensively. Yeah. He is one of the best statistical control players right now in the CDL. On the other side of things, you want to spit a little bit about New York. They have one of the best players, period, in the game right now in the form of Skyz. 1.22 overall KD in the mode, and he has just been all over the place on both sides, whether he spawns offense or defense.
Yeah, Skyz has been that guy. With that AR in hand, he's holding down his lanes. He's getting a two-piece whenever it's needed. He's clutching up in a couple of these gunfights, and so far in this series, he hasn't really answered the call. So really looking at Cesar Size Bueno to invest in this game, into this map number 3, to try to keep the Subliners alive.
Old memes never die. That's all we know.
Never.
Old memes never die. But a must-win scenario here. Again, both teams very comfortably will find themselves in some form in the top 4 likely of the upper bracket, but seeding could be massive towards trying to build yourself an easier pathway to a grand finals. And again, I think the biggest thing here for Toronto is not necessarily, you know, what position we put ourselves in for Boston, but can we just eliminate all of that former nonsense, which was one of the fastest grand finals in Call of Duty history last year in Modern Warfare 2. So can they essentially give New York a taste of their own medicine here with a 3-0, or will we extend this series to a sub-base hard point where New York very well could find some favor and extend this all the way to a game 5 reverse sweep situation? We're about to find out. It's Karachi Control. Let's get it on, brother.
And if you're on the Subliners, in my opinion, Alan, you got to come out swinging right off the rip. Like, you need to, whatever side you're on, you need to get a clean 4 dead, put them in an instant trap, potentially earn some cruise missiles to work with, and for them, it's going to be on the defensive side. So if they do that, which is the side that they usually struggle on, they're obviously going to put themselves in a position to win. But here we go. Early into the round number 1, Envoy doing the objective. I expect nothing less from the birthday boy. On to the point, Kismet finds the first, but Subliners are doing a great job of finding the kills around this point to eventually set up the pinch.
Dude, Envoy just walked through a Michael Bay film. He had 3 nades landing right on top of his head. He survives to 30 HP and then finds not 2, but 3 straight eliminations. Oh my goodness, it is that quick. Oh, 2 ticks of progress gonna get locked, and New York need to make a decision if they're gonna chalk or if they're gonna go.
I think if you're New York in this situation, no one's wrapping back to his junkyard. Yeah, that player that's on the flank, which is Kismet, it's time to hit that point. Let's not give up this 8 point for free, and he does exactly that. At least gets him off for a little bit, but as he finds that kill, Toronto find all 4 right on back, so A's gonna be done and dusted. It's time to work our way over towards B.
Quick transition, Scrap will see Hydra on the cross. Kismet trying to play underneath Hotel, regain some ground here for New York defensively. The life count still decent for New York. It's 23 playing 22. And they have gotten themselves into some defensive positions around B, but they're having a tough time once again, tracking down how quick Ultra want to play. Here comes the threat in towards lobby.
And they find 3. They find all the kills over towards red, so now they know. We win these next set of gunfights towards the back alley. We are going to close out this round, and Kleenex is not slowing down. He's able to find 2 with the pistol. Scrap finds a 3rd, and now that's a clean 4 dead. We're able to get on the point, stop the clock. Everybody pre-aim over the dumpster. This is looking like a Toronto Ultra win.
2 members on for the stack. First tick of progress quickly locked. Skyz, Sib trying to make their way over. Insight also trying to assist, and oh, they just can do no wrong. Second tick of progress and 3 members on, and there is just no chance that New York find their way back in. It is clean. It is perfect. Oh my goodness, Toronto Ultra put a statement on round number 1.
See, Alan, that's what Subliners needed right there. That kind of round. But if you give it to Ultra, yeah, they're most likely going to be able to close us out in 3. But as we take a replay look at what Scrap was able to do through the middle of the map, all right, shoots this guy in the back, right? Pull out the pistol. We're going to go towards the point. We're playing, thinking objective, but the read onto Skyz mid-air in the sky is insane. What a play right there from Scrap to find 2. Toronto dominate in round number 1.
I don't want to use the word mismatch because of what we've seen from New York in the past, but brother, this is a mismatch. Absolute gap right now between the Ultra and the Subliners. Opening nades, shots good from Insight. Doesn't really need much help. Skyz will at least get the trade, but he can do nothing to get over towards being the first attempt to the Subliners come up empty.
You see the Subliners, they were trying to play the mind games off the rip. They just watched Heretics do it, but Toronto Ultra are not going to get caught slipping. They sent 3 players over towards that B point. They start off with all the kills, already 28 to 25 in lives remaining. You're not forcing the Subliners to overextend. Push through chicken coop. Just try to find any kills on the map that they can, but they are barely finding any. Another 5 streak eventually does get shut down by Kleenex, but finally, New York have something to stand on. On to the 8 point we go. Clock stopped at 47.
Yeah, you got insight in towards junk, so Ultra will know they're controlling spawns. This has to be continual A hits. Second tick progress on the way. Hydra and Sib both double stacked for it. It will lock. Here comes Ultra though, trying to regain the point. Kleenex for the first. After the trade comes out, long range shots from Hydra are good. Third tick of progress, potentially going to be locked in here as well, and with that elimination, it surely will. Okay, let's take a breath, friends. We've got minute 46 on the clock, a 3-life deficit here for New York, but plenty of time to try to work their way back over towards B and make a game out of this.
Yeah, they're just trying to figure out a way in. It looks like Hydra's going to work his way back towards Junkyard side to try to find this trade. Give his teammates free roam to just sprint right to the hill. Right through red side, but Ultra have 3 players in that positioning. Sib is actually a player from Subliners trying to go for a pinch. Jumps in towards top red. He can open him with a kill. That's exactly what they're looking for. New York, they're now going to put some pressure on.
Oh, but Envoy still shuts down Hydra from potentially earning a cruise missile.
Big win.
Guys, mid-red does hold on to a key ground here for the defense of the Subliners. Pardon me, for the offense as they start to make their way over. Long-range shots for Kismet, clean, but not clean enough. And Toronto will still hold on to some pretty significant ground here around Diner.
And that's already 45 seconds wiped off the clock. Subliners have red control, but Ultra, they're just playing some really cheeky spots that's very difficult for the Subliners to read right now. But Skyz with the angle finds that first kill onto Insight. They find the trade at least in towards Ticket, so this might be the opportunity for them to get on this point.
Trying to isolate Scrap, backside desk. He gets caught, but Sib doesn't finish off the kill initially. Now to the pistol! Whoa, nice little double down in New York. Off to the races, make their way over towards B with follow-up eliminations through mid-map. Toronto now kind of stuck with the shoe on the opposite foot, have to make their way either through Dumpster or Soda Alley. And they're gonna make their cut right in towards mid. Here comes the flood, and New York don't get initial shots here. There will be a chance for Toronto to contest this over the top. Kismet, sneaky, will find the pistol, and that'll be enough to lock down the first tick at B.
But the only thing is, Subliners should have put themselves in a position to stack right there. You were giving Ultra more opportunities to contest this point. You still have Envoy that you have not taken accountability of. He eventually finds a kill onto the player. Insight finds a second. That's now 3 dead. Would look like to be a great Subliners attacking round. Instantly gets shut down because they weren't stacking the point. You just allow Ultra to break right back on in, and with only 10 seconds left, this is your final push.
They are finding a couple of kills, though. 8 plays 6, but 5 seconds on the clock. You've got to work your way through this setup. Scrap turned away. Can anyone touch this in time? Sib, he will not quite able to get through the front doors. And Ultra will take the defense 2-0 up. Oh, it got so tight there near the end, but like you mentioned, York just could not find a way to stack or just did not make the decision to stack. And there was not enough progress made to make much work happen over at B.
Yeah, like, I don't get that. You get it clean 4 dead. You know that they're all spawning out. It's going to take quite some time for them to get to the point. And if they decide to rush it, when they see that progression going up because you have multiple players on it, they're going to start to hit routes that they probably wouldn't hit on a normal basis. But the fact that there's only 1 player on it, they have time to go around back red, to work their way through middle map, to use their attacks to break on it. And that's exactly what leads to the W. Ultra walk away with the defense. Now they're back on the attack. Subliners right now have no answers in anything so far for Ultra.
Unreal stuff, man. It's hard to find the words for it. This is not at all what I think anyone would have expected. New York much cleaner here on the opener, but Envoy still makes a bit of a mess out of rubble. Does not get the first tick of progress, though, to lock. New York only dropping 1 life in the process.
But now they at least have map control. Let's try to trap him in, earn some cruise missiles. At least the trade does come in as a clean 3 dead. You're reinforced junk control as well. So now you're forcing all of Ultra to basically be trapped in their base. But for how long, though? Scrap is able to maneuver his way out, stop the game clock again on this 8 point. He finds a second kill, and they're also putting a lot of focus on towards Hydra, who's trying to be a nuisance towards top 3. They take care of him, so now Ultra just going to get this one out the way, close out this 8 point, extend time by a minute.
And the thing is, look where New York's positioned here. They're still focused over towards this backside ASD street that they might be a little bit late on rotation if they don't clear off the point here. Scrap's still fighting from inside rubble. Skyz is stuck at barrel. He really can't do anything from this position. Finally, there's enough help over the top of Hotel, and that will be enough to clear off the 3rd tick of progress. 22 plays 16. Big life lead for the Subliners.
Big life lead currently for the Subliners. They find another 2 kills on the map, but Kleenex, what did he get done? He can only find 1. So now the farthest player pushed up is Envoy. Just wants to create a lane that his teammates can start to sprint forward on. Checking out junk because no one is blocking this spawn. He checks the wrong corner. Eventually leads to Hydra taking him down. So with only 30 seconds left, it's looking like a Subliners defensive win because Ultra, tall task ahead to even get out of your base.
Yeah, very convincing round at that. Everyone's starting to light up things a little bit more. Hydra on 4, Skyz doubles up in the kill feed. Sib 1 away from a cruise missile. I mean, everyone seems to be streaking right now for New York. But is it a little bit too late? That's the only real possible question, as it looks like only 2 ticks of progress would be allowed at A. So there are some considerations there. If New York continue to stretch this into a second consecutive round win, 18 playing 2. I mean, this is more along the lines of what we expected to begin with, but it finally gets at least involved in some form as we will head to round 4.
Yeah, there you go, Subliners. Finally, we decided to plug our controllers in, dominate on that defensive round. It was usually off of the pressure that they had over towards junk side. As long as you keep a player on that side of the map, you have top chicken, you have top 3. They are spawning all the way in the back. So you have those crossfires set up, and Toronto simply just could not get out of it. But now if you are the Subliners, a little bit of momentum on their side. A couple cruise missiles also to work with. But this time, if we get that pressure over towards B, let's make sure we stack that damn point.
Yeah, exactly. No cheeky ideas here, though. Everyone looking like they're going to head right on over towards the more conventional A site. Opening nade from Skyz will land. It puts them on 5 in a row, mind you. Trophy system down to help out for whoever decides they want to jump into the point, but Scrap able to get 2 from the top side of AC. Hydra turned by Kleenex, and the first couple of the gunfights all turn up in favor of Ultra.
And at least the good thing, though, is that not a single player from Ultra are farthest pushed up on the map past that 50-yard line. So you're able to get out, not get put in that trap instantly. But now you just have to check every single corner. They're deciding to fight out towards chicken side so that you can spawn them over towards that easy rotation at B. They want to complete A. As Kismet finds one, but the rest of his teammates are applying that pressure over towards B. Kismet is the sole man over here to try to make something happen.
It's just completely split focus, although Simp will spawn up closer towards hotel side. That will likely force the hand of New York to start considering the B zone. Yep, another spawn up there for Hydra as well. So now Toronto on the surround, trying to envelop this play, and oh, they've got everything covered. Everything's being watched. Kleenex is going to continue to manipulate spawns. Pistols being won as it looked like maybe a cruise missile is being spent right there. And it just didn't do anything. You've got New York close to B, but you're 24 playing 18, only 12 seconds on the clock.
It's a big win, though. Big win right there from Sip to take him down. Relieve some of that pressure on Skyz, which is the only player from the Subliners currently stopping the game clock. A team kill comes in from Hydra. Is he going to commit towards a gunfight? He does. He eventually finds it. But now it's only him and Hydra on this side of the map. Hydra continuously going strong. Finds another 2-piece, but now the rest of his teammates should rotate over towards A. No, Envoy cuts him down, so now it's a one-on-one towards the B point.
Skyz has to win this. 1v1 with Insight. And he has to stay on the zone as well. There's really no one nearby. Kleenex will get taken down. Skyz eventually dealt with in New York, was just using that as a little bit of a bait and switch as everyone else was focused off spawn to get towards A. But now there are cruise missiles that can fall on in. 7.8 seconds on the clock. First tick gets locked. Cruise denied. Doesn't quite find anything. And now with the double stack on, second tick will get locked. Toronto looking like they want to try to go for this. Couple of kills will allow them to try to play for the win right here. Simp still trying to stay down, but Insight and Kleenex full 4-man feed. Nothing that New York can do. The last attempt would be if Skyz can get onto B with less than a second, and he will be unable to do it. How about Toronto? You want to put us on one of the fastest grand finals sweeps in the history of COD? We got you right back in the next title with a quick 3-0 here.
That's how you get your get back right there, Alan. Absolute dominance from start to finish. They just opened up a can of whoop ass on the Subliners, and that hurts to say because I'm a New Yorker. You know, like New York is my city, you know? But they just got ran from start to finish of that series. Toronto Ultra could do no wrong. We're talking about 100-point coming them in the map, number 1. Beating them 6-1 in the search and destroy. Securing a defense in this map, walking away with an attack, actually securing 2 defensive rounds for Ultra. They walk away with the W. Subliners were just not ready to play today. Ultra came ready, strapped. Everyone was locked in. Everything went right for Ultra today to close it out in 3. That was dominance, man. That was utter dominance.
Just looking at the scoreboard, there's not a lot of negatives nor like super positives to point to, but I will say the non-traded kill percentage for Toronto lights out in that map number 3. So 100-point club, the first of the year in this matchup for map number 1, 6-1 search, and then dominance on the control leaves us completely flabbergasted. Not often we get a chance to use that word, but I think it's appropriate today.
Like, you just don't expect that. This is 2 top 4 teams. We just watched them play last year. They always had battles. When you come into this season, we have a team that's undefeated in Search and Destroy, 5-0 flawless record. The opposite side, the best respawn team in the game. But that was just a mismatch, like you said, Alan. Toronto Ultra was just a way better team today.
No idea. Have no words. Hopefully the desk has been sitting with their jaws more firmly attached to their faces as they'll be sitting by to give us the recap of the day.
Yeah, I wasn't as flabbergasted as they were, but the flabbergasters in Toronto Ultra were flabbergasting everybody across this series. 3-0! This wasn't even close. We mentioned it. You heard it from Shift there. 100-point club. The first of the season comes between two top 4 teams. What went down in this series, Allie?
Road 3 on the day. Good job.
Hey, we suck at predictions.
We're so bad at this. Hey, you caught up.
Yeah, you caught up. Tell us how your team did it.
I mean, Toronto Ultra, just an unbelievable team. Now, mind you, like, we talked about it before the series, how the World Championship went, Chris, Allie, right? Like, they got smoked. This is why they made this change. This team was designed to be able to beat the New York Subliners, and that is what they have accomplished. You got to think that this series meant a little bit more to them. You could see it in the intensity right out the gates on that hard point, 100-point clubbing them. And obviously, you got players playing well inside and scrap, but I'm just going to shed a little bit more love on the birthday boy.
Yeah.
Allie,
yes.
The plays he was making at back 3, come on, tell me about it.
I was literally just going to say that. I was waiting until I was like, you're making an amazing point in the fact that if you want to go back in the series, if there's any part you should watch, it should be one of the P3s in map number 1 when Envoy was literally, he was being so annoying. He was just running around tripping chicken coop, staying alive. He grabbed 1 kill, and I'd even said it. I was like, oh, look, he got the 1 kill he needed to get. Like, that was fine. And then he continued to do more. He was finessing the New York Subliners players, keeping them off the time, soaking time, getting back off the time, getting a kill. He was all over the place.
Making the game easier for everybody on the team.
Yes.
This is exactly what you want. And look how frustrated New York is. Like, this is the biggest W of the season so far, I think, for any of these teams. Massive win.
Toronto had a big question mark after their loss to Boston. The dub against Subliners, I think, clarifies that they're within the top tier. They're alongside Atlanta FaZe. Let's talk to Scrap in our Monster Winner Spotlight. Scrap, you've been waiting for this rematch. Today, you got yours. How'd that 3-0 feel?
It felt good. You know, obviously New York's a top 4 team. It was probably our biggest matchup this year so far. And yeah, it's a going in before Boston.
Amazing, Scrap. I mean, congratulations. Y'all got the revenge, and you got it handedly. 3-0, 100-point clubbed. I mean, I could see the smile on your face the second we opened this interview. I have to ask for Toronto Ultra, you know, obviously we head to Boston in next week. Do you guys get better on LAN? Do you think you've reached peak right now?
I mean, I don't know if we get better on LAN. I think that we're a super consistent team. You know, I don't think we get better or worse. It's just like we're kind of the same team. We kind of try to play as best as we can online, like we're going to play at the Major. But I don't know. Hopefully it's just consistent going in there, and it's going to be a fun time.
Scrap, fantastic win. Had you guys won champs, you probably would have kept that last roster. You lose it, and it's the New York Subliners. It seemed like this match meant more. You know, we're always trying to create storylines, but you could feel it entering into the series. Did it mean more in the moments leading up to this game?
I would, maybe for me personally, you know, I've got so much hate over the past probably like 6 months to 8 months of just me losing champs. But if I'm going to be totally honest, I think that's the most fugazi finals I've ever even seen be played in COD history. I think if we were to play that match again, like that would never happen again. But yeah, you know, I never want to lose to the teams that I'm losing to, you know, last year. You know, every match for me is a big match. You know, it's always like people, every time I lose, my mentions are filled with haters. So, you know, I take every match the same. And yeah, absolutely shit on.
Looks like that fuel's working, man. Keep using it as your fire.
A 1.35 right now. What are you going to drop against Las Vegas Legion to open up the show tomorrow?
Dude.
Sheesh, I don't know. You know, those guys love online too, so we'll see. But hopefully it's another hot 3-0, and then, you know, we'll head to Boston.
Thanks for joining us. Enjoy some partying there with the birthday boy.
Have a good one.
That's Scrap, Toronto Ultra, and Envoy getting a big dub tonight as they take down the Subliners 3-0, and that is going to bring us to the end of the show. Nameless,
what the hell was that?
Recapping that victory real quick. What did you see there from Scrap?
I was asking what the hell was that? 9-0 maps today, Chris?
9-0.
What's going on?
What time is it? How long have we been live?
Let's start here with where it started. It was Minnesota versus LAG. Everyone on the desk, everyone on chat went with Los Angeles Guerrillas. We were all wrong. Minnesota Røkkr come out with the 3-0. That led to the OpTic versus Heretics matchup, another 3-0. But let's go back to the beginning here. Minnesota was 1-4. They were desperate for a second win if they wanted a chance to finish in the top 8 and get in the winners bracket. Now they're in that conversation.
And I mean, it was a lot off the, off of Vivid. I feel like throughout this whole series, he did. What's funny is last year, he kind of did the same thing where he was inconsistent, but when Vivid was on, he could be one of the scariest players on the map. He can be incredibly annoying, especially now with covert sneakers, and I felt like we kind of saw what those capabilities were today when it comes to Minnesota Røkkr. So I'm not convinced yet, but it was a good series.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I'm not totally convinced on Minnesota Røkkr just yet. Very inconsistent. But for LAG, it almost felt like this was that series where it was like, all right, you lost to some of the top 4 teams. You've been beating up on the teams on the bottom. Solidify yourself as one of the better teams in our league, and they couldn't do it. They fell short. And, it was by way of massive mistakes. So LAG having that opportunity right in front of them, now their back's up against the wall once again.
That was our first 3-0, including a round 11 search and destroy. This one, much cleaner in favor of Miami Heretics. Going up against OpTic, we all thought, well, this is going to be proving grounds. They beat all of the bad teams, but the Heretics haven't taken down any of the top dogs. Today, they did it, and they made it look easy.
They made it look really easy. I mean, the margins in these maps, like, it was not close. The pace set by Miami Heretics, just unbelievable. I mean, these guys clearly, talk about friendship, it's working. And for OpTic Texas, they got to figure something out, man. Throughout all these series, I felt like prior to this game, they looked pretty good, but some glaring errors for them headed into Major I is very concerning.
I will say when it comes to OpTic Texas, one of my biggest worries was the fact that Kenny has been doing so well, but what happens when he has an average series? And I feel like that's kind of what we saw today against Miami Heretics. So I think OpTic Texas needs to get a little bit used to not leaning so heavily on Kenny, making some miracle plays, and have somebody else also be able to step up.
Some teamwork.
Yeah.
OpTic's been clutch. Today was not their day, and now they're going to find themselves in the middle of things as we take a look at our standings. We're going to Boston, the first major of 2023. It's just 1 week away, and right now, there is one team with a perfect record. Atlanta FaZe going up against OpTic to close out Sunday. We'll also see them against Carolina, where they are the heavy favorites tomorrow.
I mean, we're going to start solidifying where people are going to end up. Obviously, Atlanta FaZe, I have to assume they've secured winners bracket there, about our top 4 teams, but there's still some teams that could battle their way into that top 8.
3 teams tied there for 8th place. Who's going to lock in the final spot? Well, tomorrow we take one more step closer to finding out. Nameless, taking a look at that Saturday. Who has the best chance to upset on day 2?
I mean, given what we saw from the Minnesota Røkkr today, them versus Seattle could be a pretty good game. If Vivid comes to play like that, it's anybody's ballgame.
It all starts at 2:45 Eastern, right before noon out there on the West Coast. Thank you all for tuning in. It is day 1, the final week of qualifiers. We'll see you bright and early for Saturday tomorrow.
Shout out to my rivals. We both know now the world finally can see. Shout out to my rivals. You never believed it made me stronger. Shout out to my rivals. The wait is over, no longer. I'ma spring in action like I'm Jackson. I quantum leap defeat, that's my reaction. A lot of folks can talk, but I'm a big stepper. 365, yes, I'm a go-getter. I know they cannot stand us, but they know we go bananas. Like a big gorilla or a bear who's prepared for a coming winter. I'm ice cold, froze like the month of December. Yeah, shout out to my rivals. We both know now the world finally can see. Shout out to my rivals. You never believed it made me stronger. Shout out to my rivals. The wait is over, no longer.